Greetings and salutations. I hope everyone's having themselves a mighty fine day. Like the video, subscribe, share, comment, and all that. We do have one and perhaps two more people coming later. But first and foremost, we got Mikey in the building.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
I'll put your link and stuff in the description for your Twitch and everything. Do you want me to go by Ultra Slayer? Like, what do you want me to go by?
Just call Gojo Daddy.
Okay.
Or just Gojo.
All right,
Gojo is
I'm,
so
I'm gonna say Gojo.
Just call it Gojo. Just Gojo.
I'm not gonna call you Daddy, but I'm with it. So we are here to speak about Clair Obscur Expedition 33 because we're all pretty enamored with the game. As you guys have seen, I've done 2 videos on it recently. I've been very excited, very moved by the game itself, and I honestly just wanted to get some more opinions and bounce off other people in real time to see how they were feeling about the game, whether they've beaten it a long time ago, recently, or like 4 days ago or so, just like I did. But yeah, what's up, Chief? Hope you're doing good. I see you in the chat. And yeah, I'll just be doing like Endless Tower, kind of just messing around, not doing anything crazy while we talk, just so you guys have some footage while we do this podcast style. So the first thing I actually want to ask you guys is how experienced you are with kind of turn-based RPGs. Is this your first one? And if it's not your first one, like, I'm not telling you to say, oh, it's better than the others or worse than the others, but how would you kind of compare it to other RPGs if you had to?
Well, I guess I can kind of go first. So this is definitely not my first one. This is like, if I go back all the way back to like the days of like me playing like Pokemon on the Game Boy and all that, if you count that, then I've been playing that since back then. So it's definitely not my first.
Pokemon counts.
Yeah, so it's not my first, but I played a bunch of different ones. I've actually, I tried the Tales series. I haven't fully gotten into it yet. Persona as well. I played 3 actually right before I played this one. But I played a good bit. This one, I would say, at least in terms of like comparing to the others, it's definitely one of my favorites from like the turn-based RPG genre. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite.
Okay.
But I think the entire package, whether gameplay, gameplay especially, but gameplay, soundtrack, characters, story, all of that. I think it really came together in a way that I haven't had from a turn-based RPG in a while. So I really enjoyed this one. But that's sort of my like background on it.
Is that multi-billionaire lawyer Mikey? Yes, it is. Gojo.
Yeah, for me, this was the first turn-based I played, if you don't count the 10 hours Persona 3 Reload remake. I enjoyed it. It was refreshing to play turn-based combat, and not normally I play a lot of games. The characters over the shoulder, like FromSoft games, God of War, Spider-Man, etc. Games like that. So it was first-time experience, turn-based, looking at the characters, builds. Okay, which attack I'm gonna do next. So yeah, I can compare it because I didn't play other turn-based, but I had a lot of fun with this game, even though I have issues. So you get there later.
Did you enjoy the back and forth of like the turn-based, or is it something like you think like?
Yes, definitely, it's my favorite part, especially the pairing.
You mind if I ask you guys what you played it on? Out of curiosity.
Base PS5.
Okay.
And for me, it was a combination of my not so good gaming laptop and Steam Deck. So it was definitely, I would say I probably wasn't playing it the most optimum.
Okay, I think Pat also played it on Steam Deck as well, so I did too. So I don't have a super powerful PC myself, and I don't presently have a PS5. But what I did was I put in a command that allowed me to basically trick my Steam Deck into thinking I was on PC. So I was actually able to really configure everything from frame rate to shadows to anti-aliasing and everything. And I think I made it work. I did lock it at 30 FPS and whatnot, but I know that I didn't have the most optimal high-end graphical experience, and it was still friggin' beautiful, which is a testament to how great this game was and how well optimized it was for different settings, because I still think it looks beautiful. Yes, when I'm watching some videos of other people, I'm like, damn, this shit clear as hell. But yeah. As for the question, this is absolutely not my first turn-based RPG, and you might be shocked to hear me say this. This is not a genre that I'd particularly call myself a fan of. I typically like JRPGs or RPGs like this, where when it's not my turn, I can still do something, which is why I love Bug Fables, Paper Mario, why I'm excited to play Escape from Ever After. Games also where like when you attack, you do a small little mini game or QTE, such as like Xenogears and games like that. So like, I'm not new to this. I've also played more like, I guess, I think action RPGs, kind of like Xenoblade, where like you kind of have like a cooldown when you use a certain move, and you can position around the enemy, but you can't just like spam attacks crazy. You have like an auto attack. So I'm pretty familiar, and I would say as far as comparisons go, with the add of the parry system, I think, and the jumping and like countering, I think they took what was already established and made it work perfectly for their video game, which I think is very impressed. I saw you cook some dweeb for asking why people don't like turn-based. Yeah, like shut up, who cares? On Twitter, like stupid ass tweets like that. I heard it from
Yeah, I saw that tweet.
I saw that. I was like, come on, man. Just let people dislike things. It's okay.
Yeah. It's not a crime to be like, you know what? I'm naturally not a fan of turn-based games. Why don't you like them? Because I don't like them. Who cares? Just enjoy it in peace. You need validation from someone on the internet to tell you a game is good? Who cares? So yeah. But as far as this would go, honestly, this might be like a top 10 game for me. I would have to think and write them all down that I've played, but definitely from a soundtrack standpoint, it might be the GOAT. Like, I feel like Persona's the only one that could really compete, because even Persona 5, man, you'll never see it coming. Bro, they got some tunes in those games, but nah, man. I think I would say this is the music style and like the opera, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry, I'm not a music aficionado. It's different, and it's so good, and it fits so perfectly with the game. And I'm not used to music really like that. Kind of like opera style, you know what I mean? With at least tu peux apprécier, like yeah. So.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. It's up there for me. I remember I was before we started, I was like telling you how I had to stop playing the game because I was like, I need to study for all these tests and stuff. This was what I was listening to. Like, this soundtrack was what I was listening to a little bit while I was studying, because it was just that good to me. And I think, like you said, it really fits the world and the moments really well, because it's like when they drop that, like a couple of tracks, like especially the one, and we'll probably get more into like story and spoilers later on, but like in some of those boss fights, it really like gets you into the moment. Like, I was like, oh, I'm hyped. It's time. Let's go.
And like the orchestral piece will swell up in crescendo at like the climax of the fight and like get you amped. Like it's really good like that. It's really good. Okay, so from a gameplay standpoint, right? What gameplay element do you think is the coolest? And it doesn't have to be combat related. If you had to give like, this is the coolest kind of gameplay thing about the game in your opinion.
I am refreshed.
I mean, for me, I think definitely the parry mechanic. I think that helped a lot with the gameplay loop in terms of like making it didn't make it feel like I was slogging through everything, or that I was fighting the same, fighter, putting in the same inputs every single time in a when I was like picking moves and all that, because especially when you're going into new areas for the first time, you got to learn the timing for every enemy. So there was always sort of, an element of always having to learn as you went along in each area, because, you would have different enemies that would, they would have different timings, or you have an enemy that had similar timing to another one, but it wasn't quite the same. And so that kind of kept me on my toes pretty much throughout the whole game, which I like, because I honestly never felt bogged down like how I have in some other turn-based RPGs, where I'm like, dang, can I just like quickly jump through this area and be done with it. Like I was fine to fight in most areas and learn the timing of all the enemies. So I think that was part of it.
Okay, perfectly makes sense to me.
For me, it's also the parry. It's the same answer, but one thing about me, Sekiro was my first game, and that game is very parry heavy. Ever since that game, I love parry mechanic in games. If you have parry in games, that's for me a W. It may sound weird, very weird, but parry makes me horny. I'm sorry. I love parry in games, bro. I can be ass at the game, like the dodge mechanic or the build mechanic, the weapon, not the best weapon for the character. But if I can get good at the parry, that's all I need. I just love parrying, it's the best mechanic, and it's very satisfying in this game. Like if you parry the full combos of the bosses, that's the best feeling. So I will say it, parry.
That's a fact. Like,
Yeah.
a tricky attack or like, you know, certain attacks when you like, oh, I'm like, oh, I got that, okay, like you feel really good.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you parry all that. Oh,
It's a great feeling, and I think I underestimated how that feels because I'm not really into like crazy like Soulborn parrying gameplay. Actually, Chief brought up Nine Sols. Like Nine Sols is one of the few games that I play with a parry in it. And while you do have to depend on it, it's not like, I don't know, I would call it the crux of the game. You can still beat a lot of bad guys and stuff. Actually, no, it's kind of a lot. You do need to be able to parry really well in Nine Sols. But I don't know if you played that. Have you played that? The one with the little like...
I have on my Steam Deck. I played it for a couple hours. I need to also beat that again.
Yeah, it's a little challenging, but I'm actually gonna I don't disagree with what you guys are saying. I think the parry mechanic is really good and you feel really dope when you do it. But I'm actually gonna go with the Picto and Lumina system because I come from a classic era of JRPGs where I don't like over tuning my character with everything like armor and then like accessories and then attack weapon and then also like the special abilities and the magic and the skills. It's like you got skills, you got Pictos, and the Pictos become passive skills, simple, straight to the point. After 4 battles, your Picto becomes a Lumina and now it becomes a passive skill. I actually found that gameplay loop to be really good, very simple. And I know you can go crazy with it and come up with all kinds of nutty combinations, but the fact that they did not overcomplicate it is one of my favorite things about the game, because I don't like having to constantly fine-tune characters. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I still did that because like after every Picto, I would take it off and like maybe try to turn it into a Lumina if I had the points for it. But it's not a necessity. It's a choice I make just to maximize how many passive skills I could have at any given time. So after Lune had, I don't know, critical counter, 4 battles, take it off. Put something else there so I can continuously keep getting more Luminas, and I really like that part of the game.
They did a great job. This game, a lot of great characters, you can do a lot of things. And also very simple, you can follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I've kind of like played a lot of like turn-based RPGs where it's like, yeah, the customization is cool and all, but then they make it very complicated. Where I need bronze sword, silver helmet, whatever else is, and then you can only equip. The cool thing I think I liked about it is that you weren't limited to just equipping, one of those to one person. Once you got, turned it into Illumina, everybody got it. You didn't have to kind of switch it between every person to have like a specific build. As long as you had the like points for it, you could just do whatever combination. So I would just be loading up as many things as I wanted. I'd have like, I think Mael, I was like had a burn build on her, so I was just having her burn everybody, and stuff like that. But it was, yeah, that would have probably been like my second favorite like gameplay element for sure. I think that was great.
What about exploration? How do you guys feel about like exploring in the game and going off the beaten path? Like, how do you guys feel about that portion of the game?
I have slight criticism on this part because a lot of the areas were still not unlocked because you gotta level up and get to certain act. So I gonna explore like a lot of it in the beginning, even in the mid game, And that part I didn't like about it much because you really have to level up and beat Act 2 or 3 to unlock like everything. But it's when you can explore it, it's really fun. I had really fun with it. And the game makes also clear if you're under leveled or you cannot beat this boss. It's player's choice if you still want to go or explore, get level up, get nice pictos, and then come back.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
think
for
the aura ring will show you like what if it is white around your level, blue weaker than you, red danger. You're probably not ready to go there.
Yeah.
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 But I think for me, I mean, the exploration was like cool. I think I enjoyed it. I think the part of it that I enjoyed the most was just seeing how beautiful each area looked when you got to them. You know, because like a lot of the areas were very distinct in the way that they were. You'd have the forest area, and then they had I forget that I don't remember any of the names, but I remember they had that one area really early on in the game, the water area. I thought that was
Flying
so
waters?
beautiful. Yes, that one. I loved that area. That was still one of my favorite areas to be in. I think that in SKA's like cave or whatever it was.
SK's
Because
nest.
I just love SKA's nest. Yeah, I just love those. Those are two of my favorite areas to go to because it was just like so breathtaking. So that part of the exploration was good. It was like I get very lost in video games. So the fact that there wasn't really like a mini map or anything definitely, even though most of the areas were linear, there were parts where I would be like backtracking for like a whole bunch of times because you'd have like the different like pictos that you'd be trying to find in the areas and trying to like search every place, or like certain areas you would have like mimes and you'd be trying to find mimes in them, and it's like, oh man, this is like taking forever. So it was cool. Like it wasn't like I guess the strongest point of the game, but I didn't have a problem with it. I think it was fairly good, but yeah, I think, and as you progress through the game, it got better because you were kind of limited at first, like in Act 1. It wasn't until Act 2 and 3 where you really it really opened up the world to you.
Okay, that's perfectly fair. I will circle back to that in a moment, but who was your favorite character? I don't know if you had like a main party, like a main trio you guys like to focus on, but like who are your favorite party members to use in combat? Like who was your favorite characters to use? I'll start with this one. I ended up liking everybody for different reasons. Like I don't think there's a bad party member. I think they're all super duper fly. I would probably put Ciel and Monoko as my two favorites because they just hit so fucking hard. I think Mael hits really hard too, but it's just like she's a little dependent on virtuo stance. And yes, I have her virtuo stance weapon, so I'm kind of always in it. But I find if she's in like defensive or stanceless or like defensive, it's not giving what I needed to give. Monoko just be hitting like just turn it to a Nevron and fucking kill you. I'm like, why does he hit so goddamn hard? Oh my goodness. And then with CL, when you mix like the foretels with the light and the dark and you're in twilight mode, I'm like, holy crap, she is just eviscerating this boss's HP. Where did it go? It just died. So yeah. Those are my two favorites for sure.
Yeah, I think it's tough because like you said, I didn't really have a party member that I really like didn't like using, and because I have the like thing in turn-based RPGs and RPG games where I want my entire party like evenly leveled, where it's like, oh, if someone's just barely off, I'm like, no, you're out, put everyone else in. So I liked using everybody. I think my favorite, maybe like 2 or 3. Mael for sure, because I like switching between the stances. CL also, because yeah, like you said, like you got the right setup on CL. She's just eviscerating health, of all the bosses. So like seeing her go in, and plus she would all, part of it, and this is like more of a visual thing. I just loved seeing how they moved in combat, right?
Okay.
So I would love watching like CL fly all around with her little weapon. I guess a scythe or something, or a sickle, whatever.
It's like a double edged, yeah, like scythe, or because she was a gardener, right? So it's like some kind of weird gardening tool she repurposed.
Yeah, exactly. But I love like when she did that, and then Monoko was cool because I would always actually have him, if I could, even though I was trying to keep people evenly leveled, I would try to have him at the front of the party whenever I entered a new area, because I wanted him to learn like the different moves from all the like you know, different enemies, because like that's how he got his like skills. So,
I was afraid to miss monsters, so I usually had him in the party. I'm with you.
Yeah, so I guess those three would be my my favorites, and then really everybody, even Verso, because you get that one weapon, was it from like that lets him attack twice. I kept that as soon as I got that. I kept that on him the entire game because I just love that he can just attack twice every time, you know, with that weapon. So I just be doing like crazy setups with that too. But yeah, CL.
I have cheater on him, so he can go twice. But I didn't know there's a weapon that makes me go twice. I think I have the one from the gestrals right now on him.
It's the
check it out.
The one I was like the dual wielding one. Like I think it was in like Act 2. The dual wielding one. That one gives you that weapon, I think, in the game. I left that on him the entire rest. But yeah, but I guess like my top three for sure. Mael, CL, and Amino.
Okay. The one thing, though, I can see clearly now. The one thing that I will say that I really do like about everyone's gameplay style is I feel that it correlates with their character and kind of like their personalities and how they are in the game. Where Lune is kind of like the scholar and the person trying to figure out the truth behind the world and the painteress. And I feel like with her elemental stains and how it works, you have to use a scientific kind of precision to maximize her, right? Verso's like 100 years old. He's the strongest one in the party, and he's stronger than all these Nevrons. So he's not supposed to be getting hurt by random Nevrons. An Axon, maybe. So the fact that you're supposed to kind of play perfectly with him, you don't fuck up a QTE, you don't fuck up a dodge or a parry, makes perfect sense for his gameplay style. And obviously, it's inspired by Devil May Cry. Like, come on. Awesome.
Yep, definitely. That's one of the reasons I also is Versus my favorite playable character, because his attacks remind me from Virgil from Devil May Cry. Like some of attacks just look like Virgil from Devil May Cry, and that's why I also love him.
But no, they did a really good job with that. And like Gustave, obviously, I would say his fighting style is a little bit self-sacrificial with like and obviously overcharge, like using his kind of researcher brain with the was it the Lumina converter they called it, or Picto converter and stuff like that. And like his metal arm, he lost an arm. Like I really enjoyed using him too, but he was probably the most simple character. Actually, Verso and him are not too dissimilar. It's just that with Verso, you get more out of playing perfectly. If that makes sense. So
yeah, for me, Verso was the hardest because I played on expert, and because it's like if you get hit, your rank drop. But on expert, if you get hit, like you die 1 hit or 2 hits, like you're dead. So for me, that was the hardest part for Verso. But I'm glad this Picto saved me a lot through this game. It's a Picto you get sealed, like 3 seals. So if I like mess up and the boss hits me like 2 times, I'm still alive because it's protecting me. That helped me a lot, and I love that Picto. It's one of my favorite in the game to use.
what's up?
Especially on the expert mode.
Yeah, I played on normal. I played on.
You did the
I
right thing.
definitely
You did the
played
right
on
thing.
normal. I could not.
You guys did the
I
right
was
thing.
not nice like that.
He was telling me there's certain attacks that hit me. If it hit him on expert mode, he would have been dead. And I said no.
Bro, when I watched that stream and this man only lost 70 HP, I'm like, bro, my character just died getting 1 hit, and this man had like 90% health left.
Listen, I also was over leveled though, cause I'm not one of those people who I make the joke that I'm like a Saiyan or Superman when he knows he's stronger than you. I'm about to have a good time. I'm about to stand up. I'm gonna stand on your head like a Nappa. I'm a stunt on you. I still have fun when I'm overpowered personally. So go ahead though. Go ahead.
The funny thing is, I looked my footage. I was close to your level. Like you were maybe like 2 levels above, and you fought the pain first, and I was still getting my ass beat. To be fair, I am not that good at games. I'm gonna be honest, but still, it was. I was over leveled enough. It had great pictos, but that boss was hard, but fun. Annoying but fun.
My question would be like, did you guys level up like your stat points every time you leveled up, or would you forget or wait a few turns or a few? Because as soon as I got 3 points, I immediately put them on my character. Like I wasted no time. So I was like, I was basically always as strong as I could possibly be because I'm always changing my pictos, always adding new Lumina, always upgrading my weapons, and always upgrading my characters and my skill tree. So basically I was always as strong as I could be. Cause at the beginning of the game, I went up like 6 levels and didn't realize. I'm like, oh shoot, I've all these damn points. What am I doing? So
for me, it's usually about 5 or 6. If I have 5, 6 points to upgrade my stats, then I do it. If it's below, I just wait.
okay,
That doesn't bother.
that makes sense.
Oh, I leveled up immediately. As soon as I was like, oh, I get a level? Oh, let me add my stat points. The only thing that I think I would sometimes wait on is upgrading weapons. Because I'd want to like get a certain amount of materials to upgrade a specific weapon I wanted to even higher. But yeah, stat-wise, I would always put my points in immediately. Lumina points, or I forget what they were called. I would always put those on as soon as I got them too.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to have as much, stats and then also like access to the different Lumina as possible.
Okay. What are your nitpicks and critiques for the game, if you have any, from the gameplay standpoint? Like
Gameplay standpoint?
yeah.
Let me think.
I got one.
What's up?
The platforming. This is not a platformer. they cannot jump. And some of the
Those gestural beaches are evil. I did it.
Beaches, bro.
I did them all eventually, but that shit is evil. I'm like, bro, I can't even walk on this log normally without falling off. I have to use Mael because she's the smallest and like the skinniest, and did my best, bro. I spent like, you know what's? Sorry, real quick. So there's 3. If I remember correctly, there's 3 gestural beaches. There's the volleyball one, where you're like hitting back and forth the like the patats. There's the parkour one with the really long skinny logs, and then the spinning rotation, and the one with the Golgra climb challenge where you go up. I would probably say the last level of the volleyball one is the hardest, but
I hated that.
But from a platforming standpoint, I didn't think the climb one was actually that bad when I realized that like, oh, everything here is kind of like climbable. Like you don't have to land on it. You could use the like pull up method. So I actually didn't find that one too bad. It was just fucking long. That first one took me way longer to do than the climb, bro.
No, man, that first one sucked. But that's so you only did 3 because there was I remember there being like 4 because there was this other one that like pissed me off because of how the platforming worked, where it was like a timed one. Where you had to run.
Oh no, you're right. And like depending on the time, you'd get silver, medal, and bronze. I smoked that the first time. I smoked it.
It took so like I got silver very easy, but for whatever reason, gold. I would just the way that it worked, like because it's like they have a lot of magnet hands in this game, and for whatever reason, I could not get onto the platforms that I needed to fast enough to get to the gold. So it took me forever. It took me like over an hour. Because like I got the silver medal so fast, but the gold took forever for me to do. But the the climbing one wasn't that bad, but definitely that one with the that like very first one where you're trying to run through the obstacle course, not good. But in general, like the platforming in this game, like it didn't upset me, but you could tell it was like this was not your main focus in this game. It wasn't like an afterthought or anything like that, but like especially even in some of the like linear areas when you're like jumping through things, there were a couple times where I was like, wait, this is not working, and I fell all the way down to the bottom. I had to circle all the way back. So I would say that was like one of my nitpicks of the platforming. Like it was okay, but either they, if they ever like did like a sequel or something, either like refine it just a little bit more, or just kind of like limit it in terms of the amount of areas. Like the Gestural beaches are completely optional, so that didn't bother me. But even in some of the like areas where you have to go through, it did annoy me at first.
Yeah, that's a good point with the traditional features. They are optional things that give you like a cosmetic, but basically, I had to be like, all right, I'm about to list. I rolled my sleeves up. I leaned in and said, I'm about to spend like 3 hours doing this bullshit. I know I am, and I just logged in and I ended up doing it. And they're evil. If you fall at any point, oh, I didn't even tell you guys this. When I climbed up and I made it, I accidentally fell back down. You know, I didn't fall all the way back down.
Got it, right?
Yeah,
You got it right.
I fell down like maybe like I would say like 3 minutes worth of climbing. But so I landed. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I walked through the very hole that I climbed up in. I'm an idiot, I'm a moron, I deserve this. But that did happen to me. So my critique is kind of like the exploration. I don't like invisible walls. They really bother me. And I think it's a nitpick though. Like I felt like sometimes like the invisible walls were just a little too restricting. And I'm like, just let me fucking do the thing, man. Like move out of my way. Like, and to me, sometimes it would look like an area was like obviously meant to be explored and looked, and I couldn't go anywhere. And then sometimes I'd think like, oh, I obviously can't go in this direction. And then like, I could. So I was like, what? It wasn't always clear to me where I couldn't go just based off the visuals. But another nitpick I guess I'd say I have is I do think I think I blame myself for this one. I did play the game on pause a lot. I did micromanage a lot, but that was my decision, so I'm not gonna put that on the game. I do think some of the enemy attack animations take a really long time.
I'm ready.
I agree, definitely.
And I know it's testing my patience. I understand it, but it's just like, oh my goodness, like please end. Like you swang the sword 3 times and it took you 30 seconds. You know what those like Clair Obscur, like whatever enemies with the 2 swords, and it goes like bing, bing, and then there's this slow
Or, like,
wind
jump
up,
in midair.
and I'm like, my nigga,
yeah.
swing the sword already. Oh my goodness. So yeah.
Then you think, oh, they are done, and they swing the last attack, and that's obviously. I'm like, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah. But again, nitpicks. The game is very well made and stuff. Like it's not like a super real criticism, but I almost wanted like a speed up attack animation option.
The only nitpick, like I earlier said, I didn't mind the exploration, but I'm somebody, and the game is about to finish. I want to do everything before I finish the story and the credits roll. But big part of this game, like you can unlock things, a lot of areas after you finish the Act 3. That's for me personally. I like to do everything, all the side quests, all the side bosses, before finishing the last final boss and the credits roll.
Yeah.
That's only nitpick.
I tend to do all the extra stuff like as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say.
But
There's some of that extra side quests that I feel like not doing them before the final boss leaves you out some of the context of certain things. Like what was it? The last was it Axon?
yes.
That's completely optional, but I'm like, that should have been like a main story thing, because you like get sort of the context behind a lot of things, especially with, you know, what's going on with you know, Verso's, you know, sister and everything there inside the painted world, where I'm like, I can't imagine having like doing the final boss but not doing this before that. And there's a couple of other things where it's like certain, I think there's even one, although that one I think is like a super boss, so it kind of makes more sense, where it's like the painted Clay,
Yep.
where it's like that one there. That one is harder than the final boss. But even that one is like one of those like side pieces of the side content where it's like, yeah, I feel like that's something you should probably do before you go to the final boss, just to have that sort of, you know, plot thread or, you know, lingering piece there sort of at least answered for you, because she was such a big character, even though she didn't have like that much screen time, even her painted version. So
I didn't even fight Clair boss because after the beating the game, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done.
That's fair. That's valid. I think counterattack everything. Okay. I will say this. I think it's I respect the decision to not make certain things to make them optional. I'm with you. Like those quests, I would have made like something you kind of have to do. These are part of the respect. So like if you want to go out your way to figure this out and get more content and more context, go ahead. Which is why I think there's one thing that I think some people really miss that I'm going to bring up later, that I'm like, it makes a certain person's decision seem a little selfish when we're going to talk about it later. But I really do like all the optional content that was available. All the end side stuff was really good. I really feel like CL kind of gets the short end of the stick as far as the party characters go. Like Mael has a really good stuff with the last Axon, right? Even Lune with like her parents and Siren's dress area, like I'm like, okay, this was cool, this was nice, a little more characterization for her. We get why she kind of the way she is. And it's like, CL, what happened? I don't really like to swim. And I'm like, bro, that's all you got? Like, and by the way, Gojo, you tricked me. I should have picked Lune. I should have picked Lune.
Listen.
Oh,
Listen. When you ask, hey, can I romance in this game? I didn't want to spoil it because they die. They all die. Or when you choose the ending, Mael, she gets her man back. So I didn't want to say. I said, yeah, kinda. That's what I said, kinda, but not really. So I didn't trick you.
I was tricked. I was bamboozled, led astray, run amok. What is Skibide saying? No, I'm not even mad at you for real. For real, I was just like, you know what? Like I knew better. I should have just picked the girl who did not have a fucking husband previously, out of practicality.
Yeah, no, I made the same mistake. I was like, damn. Especially with how that whole route ends with her and Burst. I was like, yeah, I chose wrong, bro. I need to go back.
Go back! Fuck, go back! Yeah, you couldn't, and you couldn't, but it is what it is. All right. Now I want to know what favorite bosses and combat encounters that really stuck with you, set pieces and everything. I think the duelist one was pretty good. Like
yeah, no.
And Versa was like, that was pretty weak. I was like, bro, that was weak to you? Who are you?
That was weak, and then they got them flipping all over the screen trying to beat this thing.
Yeah.
You mean the Dark Souls 3 looking boss? That's what we call it?
This one?
The one with the fire sword and the purple sword, right?
Yeah, duelist. Yeah.
He looks like Dark Souls 3 boss. I don't remember the name, but he looks like him. And even on Twitter, like people will tell you, this looks like that Dark Souls 3 boss. And that's my favorite boss. It's maybe biased because I like Souls game, but that's my favorite boss in the entire game. I love the design. I had the most fun with it. What's up?
No, I think that one was up there for me because I think it had one of the best set pieces in the game.
Bro, the last cutscene? Oh.
Yeah.
You fall down the hole into like the bloody, you know, that whole bloody area filled with all those bodies, and then it down. I was like, oh man, this is crazy.
Versa picks up the sword, Mael's attacking, Luna flies on the air. Oh my god.
But I think one, like if I'm going away from that one of my other favorite bosses that I really like. This might be like a big easy one, the Paintress.
Okay.
That boss,
that
boss, I think sort of the same thing. Like the set piece with that boss, like the first time I think I made it to, I think it was like the second phase, I want to say, where she just opens a hole in the dimensional space. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Bro, that fucked me up on Xbox.
I didn't even know I could parry that at first. So one shot my whole party. And so I was like, oh, okay, so I guess I just gotta do this over. I was like, can I even parry this? I'm like, opened a hole in reality. So that when that first time and like she got in that, I was like, oh, that's amazing. And even the last part of that boss I really like, or in the final phase where she just kind of weakened.
That's healing you.
And like looking at that in hindsight, as to like knowing sort of everything that went down and how she was really just broken, like, you know, inside at that point and everything. I was like, oh man, like thinking about that boss in hindsight, really good. I really love that one. I mean, honestly, the main story bosses, there really wasn't a bad main story boss, but I think that one would be, and then whatever, the Lamp Master too. I like that one as well.
That one was one of the.
That was also very hard.
I didn't know you could hit the lamp, the thing in order to like.
You didn't know?
I didn't know. I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't know
either.
Oh my God.
I absolutely brute forced that boss. Because there's other versions in the game later on, right? So I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, do they light in the order? What happens if I hit it in the order? I'm like, oh! I could have made this so much easier the first time I fought him. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Imagine if this man played on that shit. Oh my God.
Oh, I would have been there for like 3 hours.
He was just subconsciously trying to prolong his time with Gustave. That's what it was.
That's what I was. That is.
I'm not gonna lie, the paint trace made me go to settings and like a 30 minutes debate, should I switch to normal or just be a man and push through expert mode, because I was 2 days, it took me 2 days to beat the paint trace.
Oh wow.
I was playing for 4 hours. I'm done, man. It's night. I'm gonna rest, put my controller down. I come back tomorrow and I beat it the later day.
That's good.
But it was fun, boss.
It was. I actually liked the boss fight with Painted Renoir with like that freaking lion that he summons. I'm like, what is this? What is this familiar? What is this? What is this?
The Dark Souls 3 looking boss, Renoir with the lion, and the painters are top 3 bosses for me personally in the game.
I'm not mad at it. I can't be. Painted on the walk was good. I didn't mind the last battle with him when he summoned the axons and stuff. It was cool, but like I think I preferred the one with the painted version a bit more. Just personally speaking.
The music was also great.
Just straight up gomaged you out of like we'll just gomage a party.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You can just do that. You can just get rid of my party member.
When you play the game the first time, every time you hear that man with his stick, it's so fucking terrifying. The sound is so fucking good.
No, the sound of his cane hitting the ground is like
exactly.
Yeah. It's trauma inducing.
It is. I know your boy.
I was like, who's gonna die now? Please, let's not do this.
I was on my Gustave. If I see that nigga, I'm out of here. I'm running so fast. I'm like, big facts. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke. I will say this. I have beaten Sprong. I've beaten him. So Sprong's been defeated. The one in the water, one of the first Neverons that Clair created or whatever. Yeah. That one just stands out to me because he's just in the water being a menace for like the whole game. And then like,
oh yeah,
I didn't think he was hard to counter. I really thought all of his moves were pretty easy to counter. When I ran into him at level 50, I'm like, I am not doing. I saw Expedition 33 counterattack. That health bar did not budge. I said, oh my God, I am about to die. I'm about to die, boy. So yeah, that was the one. I like fighting Golgra. I do think because I ended up fighting Golgra in some like story adjacent missions, I got used to the pattern. So when I actually challenged Golgra at the village, I knew what I was doing. Because I went to the dark gestural arena and Golgra was a boss. He pulled up like, what the fuck, what are you doing? You know you can't make an arena without my approval. Then there was when Minoko's side mission when he goes to revive Noko at the Sacred River. And after one of my favorite moments when he's like, Minoko, think about this twice. I've already thought about it thrice. he's like, Golgra, I challenge you to ritual combat or whatever. He's like, can I sit this one out? Please help me.
Please help me.
I was like, so by the time I actually end up fighting Gold Girl later, I'm like, oh, I know what I'm doing now. Even though she still hits like a goddamn truck in her like enrage mode, I knew what I was doing. So Gold Girl's a good one. Have you guys fought that? If you look at my screen right now, it's right there. Have you fought that snake in the sky? This shit packed me up.
I tried. I got cooked. Oh my god.
I
couldn't do
I
it.
have the game on. I think so. Let me check for sure.
I got
Give me a minute.
hacked up. I'm coming back at level 99. I don't want no
That thing
problems.
Siphons all of your like action points.
Yeah. And
Some like
I'm guessing I need to bring like a Picto Lumina set that
Yeah, no, I
counters
didn't
it.
beat him. He's still there.
That counters it, because
Well-
I'm like, you can't parry or dodge it. I tried. It's
well,
going to
what
hit
it
you,
is-
I think.
What it is that when you just have to make sure you parry enough. Because I never beat him, but I saw like what you would have to do.
Regain
Once he
AP
sucks
by
up enough-
parrying. Okay.
But once he sucks up enough action points, he actually explodes. As long as you keep on parrying him properly. And then that's when you start to do damage on him. Because otherwise he just like replenishes health and all that, over time if you don't.
So it's
Look, that
kind
boss
of
I
like
could
a
never beat.
gimmick boss, a little bit like Gross Tet. Like Big Head. The one that turns into
Actually
a
love
rock.
that one.
I do too. Because it made me better
That
at
was
parrying. Like, it's
That one was
after.
fun. It took me
It's after that boss where I became way more consistent with parrying. I would say I went from parrying 44% of the time to 76, which is still not the best,
Loaded.
but 76, I'll take it. I'll take that shit.
Still good.
Yeah,
improvement.
yeah. I know Simon's a demon. I haven't fought Simon yet. I know about him, but I know he's a demon. I saw.
I still haven't fought them also. After your stream, seeing it, I'm gonna go back and finish the side content.
Sometimes after you beat a game this grand and spectacular, you need a little break. You need a little downtime. Want
Also,
something
it
else
was
to come back?
heavy story, like emotional.
Yes.
So it's like you're also a bit drained.
Yeah. I'm getting there. I just want to really get like the Julia and Simon and like Verso's draft stuff with like apparently some like other version of Eskia he created. So, speaking of which, who are our favorite characters like non-gameplay wise? Like, give me like your top 3 just favorite characters in the game. Yeah. Who are we rocking
me-
with and like why and whatnot? Like why did it resonate with you and when did it resonate with you?
For me, it's 1 Verso, 2 Renoir. The both was the painted and the real one, and 3rd Mael. Those are my 3 favorite. For me, Verso, when he came in the Act 2, he was mysterious. I was intrigued, like, okay. I immediately know he knows way more than he looks like, because he's been alive. And when saying, Mael asked, like, how can you not die or something, like, and he's saying, yeah, this, and I knew, okay, he knows more, but he's not planning. Gameplay wise, he's also my favorite. But what he became my number 1 and my favorite game is like after the whole first and Act 3. Same with Renoir. I liked him in the beginning and midway because he's, for the majority of the game, quote unquote, the antagonist. And after seeing his reasons why he's doing, like, he's doing too much. He wants to protect his family, but the way he's going about is like a bit questionable. That made me really, and I like Mael because I understand Mael. She grew up in Canvas. She understands this world, and after getting her memories back, and dealing with her father and the painting with her brother, I can relate to her because she's 16 in real world. Her face is burned, lost her brother. She's traumatized.
She can't
and
speak.
Cannot speak. She finally found a family in here. Even though you could say in this world it's even worse because the whole expedition and people dying. But she's like had a father figure, like Gustave, like a father figure. And he has Luna, Ciel. So that made me also like her.
Ready to strike.
Yeah, that's it, honestly.
Mikey.
Okay, so it is interesting because I think the longer I sat on the game, sort of my favorites changed. But this
Same.
might not be in exact order, so I'm just gonna name three. So Gustave
Hell yeah.
is probably, I don't know if he's my favorite, but he's up there. He's definitely in my top three. I think even though you only had him for, Act One, I think his impact during that, and also just really honestly how, like, even for the rest of the game, because he'll, like, his impact there really, especially on Mael and sort of how she came up, was really important. Like, he was like, her big brother slash like father figure almost, and I really like that dynamic and that he had with her. But also just like, he went through a lot, man. Like, especially like in the very first like part of the game where he's, he lost, the love of his life, and then, damn near in the first like what, like hour or two of the game, you see this man about to end it all after the whole raid goes wrong.
Yeah.
And then like he, and like, Lune kind of snaps him out of it, but then like the fact that he was like, like, look, we gotta keep going, we gotta persevere, we don't know what's gonna happen, we just gotta see this through to the end. I really love him. Plus I actually like in terms of his design too, I liked his little robot arm, and everything. Like, I like the metal arm too.
Yeah.
But I just really liked him, and he still has, in my opinion, one of the most impactful scenes in the game
Agreed.
with his like death,
I
because
cried. I cried.
I was like in tears. I was like, I can't believe they did this to me. They pulled a JoJo Part One.
Yeah, that's exactly.
They pulled a
It's
JoJo
funny you say
Part
that.
One
I
on
used
me.
that.
I was like, I can't
I-
believe y'all did this.
I used that example from Jonathan to Joseph, but I said this is the. But this time I did it like, you know what? I kind of like Joseph more. It didn't work this time. I'm like, I like Jonathan more. I like Gustave more. So. Keep going though. Keep going.
But yeah. So Gustav would probably be my favorite. I really love Mael. Because like, she was sort of like for a lot of the game, like sort of the little sister character, but you see how she
Yeah.
kind of grew and dealt with all the loss and stuff. But then you get, sort of the um element of her character where it's like, oh well, you're like almost two different people, or you live two different lives, because you have like
Yeah.
Alicia, and then you have Mael. And so it's like her conflict about wanting to be Mael, but also having her knowing about her life on the outside as Alicia. So I like that piece of it. And just
Yeah,
sort of how
one person.
throughout the game she's
all the
caught between
expeditions I
those like
traveled
two
with.
worlds almost, right? Where she wants
nice
to
to
stay in the
tell
painted
them.
world because that's like
We made it.
really her idealized life.
And
But then also,
to explain
the conflict of, well, she's
things I never got a chance to
also
explain.
caught
There
in
he
the,
is.
with her ties to the real world. Oh, awesome. But yeah, so there's my third one is hard. I think I'm gonna go. It's between no, I'm gonna go with Monoko, because
What will you do when this is
Monoko genuinely
having
made
trouble
me
imagining
laugh
living
so
a normal
many
life.
times.
He's funny,
throughout that
he's
game.
funny.
He's very funny. Like, even though he's not necessarily like, but he also has his serious moments, which
Yeah.
I really like
Yeah.
too.
I'm not
Where it's like,
gonna live in
especially
this
like
city anymore.
him and Verso's dynamic with
don't
each
know.
other, especially.
What about
I
you?
really love. Like, I think they have the one scene
Well,
where like
since we're
Verso's
in
trying to
the
convince
slightly
him to
discountless,
join the
my
party. He's
mum
like,
has kindly
"Do I
offered
get to
to
hit
paint the
people?" He's like,
outside world for me.
"Yeah, okay, I'm in."
That was a
And all
great
that.
moment.
And
So
so,
I can see
he's really cool because he made me laugh a lot, but also just
a painting
when you
inside
learn
this
sort of
painting.
like what he represents from, the actual like real world, and what, like, I guess, the real Verso kind of painted in him like to represent. I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense when you think about it in hindsight, because like
Maybe we
there's
could
sort of
stop by
that
the
element
Dreadstone
of that
village for a
his
little
character
bit.
where you kind of see that
Need more supplies anyway.
as he goes on. But yeah, so I think that would be my top three. Honorable mention would be like Lune, because I really love Lune too. But yeah.
That's fair.
That's fair, brother Pat.
Hey, that's lit, brother. I was tired.
You fell asleep.
Yeah, I was asleep, and then like I felt like my phone vibrate, and I saw you text me. I was like, "We're gonna start. Just hop in when you can." I was like, "All right, let me sleep a little bit more."
Listen, I understand that. I feel you. I feel you. I kind of got to speed run you a little bit.
That's okay.
So actually, well, we'll start with this topic first, and I'll backtrack a little bit. So we're talking about kind of our favorite characters, not from a gameplay standpoint, just favorite characters in general. So like, who would you say are kind of like your top three? Doesn't have to be in order, and kind of why and when did they resonate with you?
Let's see if
Just favorite characters overall.
Yeah,
Maybe that'll help.
if you had to pick like three or so.
Um. Oh, yeah, I saw the show notes, but I didn't even have time to sit and think about the answers because I like the characters so much. Like, there's not a single character that I actually like of the main group. At least, there's not a single character that I dislike. I like them all. I think they're all very unique in their own special way. Um, if I had to pick a favorite, I would say Maya. Maya simply because she reminds me so much of my own sister. Um, Even like the spelling of her name, like it's literally one letter off.
Interesting.
Uh, she's this is like, she's very headstrong. She's very strong-willed. On top of that, like she's also a child, right? Like, I mean, 16 is not a child, but it is like once you get to our age. So it's also very unique. Like, not only is she a child that doesn't understand the way the world is yet, her case is special because there's really no true way to understand what their world is like because everybody dies so young. So in their universe, especially since the clock keeps ticking, she's 16. She's already like middle aged, essentially.
Grown.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's a weird situation to be in because like you still have so much time to develop, but like in their situation you don't. So she's been forced to grow up so quickly because life is so precious over there.
And time is fleeting. Time is passing.
Yes, but even like just from the very beginning of the game, like her conversation with Gustave, like she's prodding him forward. Like you could tell, like Gustave is still reeling from the breakup. He's very unsure about like going on the expedition. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like most adults, like we don't know what we're doing for real, but we have to act like we do. Gustave's not even trying to act like he knows what he's doing. He's just like, well, we got to do this,
Oh
this
no,
is for
dog!
the
I just
sake
been
of
here
our
for like
business.
3 days.
And like Miles like constantly pressing him like because he's like, you sure you want to go on this expedition? And she's essentially like, yeah, because I know if I just leave you to go on your own, you're gonna give up halfway. So somebody has to be there to kind of force you to move along a little bit. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I really like Mile. I like how tough she is. I like how she's able to respond to adversity. And I just like the raw emotion that she showed, like when Gustave died, and like her resolve and determination. She was like, "No, Bernard, you're going to die.
Yep.
You're going to die." I was like, "Yeah, get it back in blood."
It's the only
Yes,
way.
sir.
It's the only way.
That was a long-winded answer. I'm sorry, but yes, my
It's
favorite.
okay.
No, good.
Mine's gonna be equally as long because I went through
Emotions.
I went through a roller coaster, and my rankings went up and down all around. The only thing I could say is Gustav stayed at the top. Gustav was my
Fair,
favorite.
fair.
It never changed. You know what's crazy? In hindsight, when I'm thinking about it, I think I had an inclination he might pass because I'm like, who is this other guy who I feel like is fighting like Gustav? but isn't him. That I was seeing in the trailers, like before I knew what Verso really was. But I'm thinking like, you know what? I saw that Gustave had like so many locked like abilities. He gonna come back later. He gonna like get separated or something. He'll come back later. No!
Naya, my theory. Listen, my theory was, Gustave dies, but he comes back as Verso, like leveled up, like something like. That was
That's
my theory.
literally
I
what I
was so wrong.
because you know these French motherfuckers be looking so alike sometimes. So like
Exactly. I thought I didn't
I was
get
like, oh,
straight
they're
on
the
his
same.
head.
Gustave and Verso, they're the same person.
Exactly.
And then like I'm watching the gameplay and the cutscenes, I was like, wait, who the
Exactly.
nigga?
There was a part I thought like, is this like him in the future or something? Like, it's some weird. What's going on?
That's
But
all.
Came back to the past.
yeah, like I don't know. On some like I have to. I don't know. But I'm like, you know what? He'll be back. I think. And then like when it happened, I'm like, oh my god, no, he is gone. Yo,
He's gone.
That's it.
I was crying, bro. I couldn't believe it. I was
I
devastated.
think we all cried when Gustave died.
That shit hurted.
That hurt a lot, man.
And then like okay, so to bring back what Mikey said, right? So like I'm gonna use two examples that most of us are very familiar with, like the Jonathan to the Joseph pipeline. I love Jonathan. That's my man's. I don't disrespect him. But because I like Joseph more, I was able to like move on quicker, if that makes sense. I think Ace and Sabo. I fuck with Ace, but I do like Sabo more in general. So when that reveal kind of came, I'm like, okay, good. We still got the big brother gimmick going. Shout out to my Flame Emperor. We here. Not this time. Who the fuck is Verso? I already don't like you just because you replaced my man. So I'm already hating. Nothing but hate. Nothing but hate in my heart. Off the rip. Right? But as I'm like using him, getting to know him, I'm like, you know what? He is shady as fuck. He is hiding something, but
Oh yeah, he was so shady.
but this is a good character. I'm not mad at it. Like, he's a good character. He's well written. I'd actually argue he's the best written character in the game. Objectively speaking.
That's all I need.
Objectively speaking.
That's all I need.
But I'm like, I was so conflicted with him. I went all kinds of like up and down and around.
It's
right?
fair. I mean, it's fair.
Okay, second ended up being Clair Obscur. When I realized how much of an impact she had on the game without really being present that much, and I did the side stuff with Clea, and realizing she created the Nevrons, and that like when they were talking about the mistress with the white Nevrons, I'm like, they're not talking about the paintress. It's the older daughter. And with all due respect, that is a French woman. Okay, I know French women. That is a French woman. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm like, yeah, I'm in there. I'm all
Also,
about
the
it.
Glaze is insane because they keep saying, "Oh, Clea is the only one talented enough." I'm
To
like,
to
damn.
repaint over like, you know,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm like,
damn.
ooh,
She helped Rinwar because the mother was too powerful.
yeah.
Well, wasn't she? I forget if the lore said this because it's like hazy now. But wasn't she the one that made the Nevrons or whatever
Yes.
it was? I forget if it. Yeah. So I was like, oh, she did this. So you created all the mobs that we're fighting now.
Exactly.
Like, that's crazy.
Remember what Alicia said in the letter. Your father paints death, your mother paints life. She created the Lumerians, whatever you want to call them, Lumiere, and the characters and stuff like that. She added more life to Verso's childhood canvas. Renoir is the one who brought like the gommage and everything like that. So like Clay was on her demonic, just like, I'm gonna create these demons to just erase everybody, because if I remember correctly, the idea is that if you die from a Nevron, the chroma gets stuck in your body, and Aline, she can't reabsorb it, which means she's getting weaker as the years go by, right? But anyways, my third favorite character is probably, if it's not Monoko or SKA, it's probably Golgra. I think Golgra is fucking hilarious. Okay, just a strong ass gestural that's just gonna beat your ass. I'm like, why is she so OD strong? Like, she's just so powerful.
Bro, she was most of all.
Yeah, and then like I did all the side content to see more about her. So I'm like, okay, so she's not just the chef, the chef of the Gestrels, but like I think the Gestrels are characters that I really like, and I think they were a much needed addition to lighten the game up, because it is somber, a little heavy and melancholic, more often than not. So those would be my top three. Mayel was one of my favorite characters, but when she got her memories back
sir.
as Alicia, I became extremely disconnected from her. I even feel
I
the
agree.
I even feel the way that she was like presented and shot was a little more holier than thou. Like, I am the goddess of this world of a paintress, and I feel like her demeanor and even how she stood and spoke to people changed. I'm thinking even of the Axon mission where she just deleted Alicia and Versa was like, "What the fuck? I didn't get to say bye to my sister. What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, and she just looked at him like with like cold indifference almost. And I'm like, this is not my Mael. This is Alicia. Like this, I don't know
To
you.
be fair, the big point of the end of if you choose like the Mael ending is like Mael becomes a mother, even though she says I'm not gonna become like her, and she becomes like her because she's also stayed so long in the canvas. Ronwell says that. I think that's also a big part of his maybe the developer was conveying.
No, I'm with.
I think there was like it was very intentional too. Even though
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, it's like the disconnect there because, and it's sort of what I was like talking about earlier, where once she gets her memories back, it's like the two sides of her are in conflict now. But you see, like once she's like, oh, y'all aren't like not that they're real to her, but she becomes selfish because she wants them to always be like the vision she had, right? She no longer she it wasn't that she no longer became was an inhabitant of the world so much as the world was something that she wanted to just keep in a certain image and like kind of capture, sort of like, you know, when people take photos you want to capture that moment. She just wanted that whole world to be as she wanted it for forever because she was like, well, my life outside sucks, I'm not giving this up no matter what, so y'all are gonna just do
Yeah.
what I want no matter what happens because I ain't going back. Like, I'm not going back. So I think that was like part of where that sort of indifference and even sort of like, I wouldn't say God complex, but you know, where she started to kind of elevate herself a little bit above everybody was because she was like, yeah, I'm not going back at all. Like
I
this
personally
is my life.
I didn't view like that. She put her like above everyone. I think she just wanted to live in the canvas because how hot her life was outside. And that's why she was fighting so hard against her family. No, I'm gonna stay here. And lying about she's not gonna die and not become my mother. But maybe I'm looking differently.
I mean,
The way
go
I
ahead.
feel, I was um as I'm playing the game, like especially throughout the vast majority of Act Two, um, I already had an inkling.
Ink. Well said. You said inkling. Use that ink, that paint
Sorry,
terminology.
my headphones acting up.
Do your
I
thing.
had an inkling that Mael was going to become a different person entirely. That's kind of how I felt. Then when you see like the flashbacks with the Desandra family and then everything
Yeah.
comes full circle. At that point, she becomes a completely different character to me.
Yeah.
Like now, this is Alicia now. You feel what I'm saying?
I liked it, but I would say she did starting to lose me because the whole game, even after the end of Act 2, I was on my outside. Like, okay, this canvas deserves a chance, but playing Act 3 and beating the game and thinking about it, watching the both endings I did, I started to lose my eye. Like, okay, I get where you're coming from, but your logic just I get it, but your logic is not strong enough. Like, and that's why one of the big reasons I think Verso ending is the hardest choice and you not the best outcome you could say because both endings are not quote unquote good endings. But I think it's ultimately the right choice to do. And that plays a big part of because Maya lost me because she changed, and I still understood her. and it's one of my criticisms. Maybe we can go later. I think the game didn't try enough or hard enough after the big whole twist to convince us players, hey, this world deserves a chance. Because after Act 2, you go to run well and you can beat the game. That's it.
It's like what Mikey brought up earlier, where you can miss a lot of the side stuff that's really almost, I would say, essential to fully understand the grand picture, the grander narrative and everything. So I am with you. But okay, real quick. Shoot, what was I gonna say? Yeah, she lost me. I knew she was really important from the get go. I wasn't sure why or how. I actually thought at one point, I'm like, are you the painter secretly somehow? Like, I wasn't exactly sure, but I want to say this. As somebody who has full autonomy of mind and body, I have no idea how it feels like to be a disabled person. Burnt, scarred beyond recognition, almost basically blind in one eye, and I can't speak. I don't know if I would like have a similar reaction if I was in that situation. I am blessed enough that my body works perfectly, and so does my mind. So I'm not in that position. I'm privileged enough to say that. But she did still lose me regardless. I will obviously talk about why I ended up picking her side anyways, even though I don't think it's the best outcome necessarily. Even though like you guys watch my videos, so you know, but this is for the people, for the viewers. But I did want to start to get into like the actual story of Claire and everything and how we feel about it as like a narrative. Because one thing that I want to say about it is I think it's structured really well. I think it's well paced. I think the voice acting is phenomenal. I think all the people who did like the motion captures and everything, they did a great job. The characters are deep, multifaceted, and dynamic for the most part. And I think everybody showed out. So, but I still think the story is the weakest part. I do think the jump from Act 2 to 3 is extremely jarring. From from saving Lumiere to family drama. Who the fuck are these people? I don't care about these rich ass friggin' French people. Who are they? Like, I was kind of unmoved, but I think the developers almost wanted you to go through that emotion and see how you come out on the other end. Because with time, with reflection, and me persevering, I ended up kind of coming around to like, okay, this is kind of a cool concept and brave in its own right, and I kind of respect it. But how do you guys kind of feel about the overall story of Clair Obscur? You think it's a great narrative, a bad narrative, somewhere in the middle? Like, and how did you feel about Act 2 to 3? Anybody?
Who's going first? I'll go first. Okay. So it's funny because from Act 2 to 3, I was already expecting for there to be some intense family drama. I didn't think the narrative was going to shift all the way over like it did with like the people in Lumiere not really being real, so to speak, and being like a painting.
I hit him with the Mewtwo quote, bro.
Yeah, like when everybody gommage at the end of Act 2, I was like, no, ce n'est pas possible. I was like, no, we didn't do all that.
That was a great moment, by the way.
Oh man.
I also think this game has some really good foreshadowing. Because even from Emma saying the painters look sad, like she's stuck in a cycle too. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, but continue, Pat, keep going.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like afterwards, and then with Alicia and Mael like fusing to become one essentially with like all their memories and stuff. I was like, you know what? I think this game did enough with the foreshadowing of the way Mael was acting for me to see that there was going to be some intense family drama, especially with like the way Renoir would act when he saw her, same with Verso, and like the way they were talking to each other. I was like, clearly there's more here, there's more going on. Now, did I expect all that? Like, painted world, split family, suffering from grief? I was like, no, I didn't expect all that to happen. But it for me, it wasn't like jarring. I felt like they led into it well enough for me to still be engaged, so to speak, like as I was playing.
That's fair, because sorry, real quick. It's one of those things when I look back, I'm like, damn, they really kind of been telling me this whole time. Like even with the fading boy being like Verso Soul, like, oh, I'm just done. Okay, I didn't catch any of this.
He was just having fun.
Yeah. Well, I was also feel like I almost didn't give this game enough credit. I'm like, well, I figured this shit out. I know what's about to happen. Like I thought I had it figured out. You know what I mean? Like I got cocky. I got cocky. So, but go ahead. Yeah, I cannot win this fight. I'm about to go ahead, Bill.
Who next?
Yeah, who's next?
Oh well, I'll go. So yeah, sort of piggybacking off of that, I think with the thing that I give the narrative in this game, especially like you said, looking back, everything felt intentional. Which, even if I didn't necessarily like I said, the jump from, like y'all said, the jump from Act 2 to 3 was like a big, like, oh wow, so this is what we're doing now. Then that's crazy. But it wasn't so out of the realm of everything where I was like, oh no, like they just kind of like threw this together. I was like, no, like looking back, especially, it's like this was like intentional from the very beginning. So I like that piece of it, and I think for me, and this kind of goes sort of my thing about like the characters. Because of how well they did the characters. And like in this game, I was there for like the narrative no matter where it went, because I was just like, yeah, like I just want to see how this all turns out for all these characters, right? Like Mael, Lune, CL, Verso, Minoka, I was like, I need to see where this all goes. So even if there were points in the story, I was like, you know, like the jump between Act 2 to 3 where I'm like, oh, so we're kind of like these guys don't matter as much anymore. And all that, I still was engaged enough with the narrative because of the work they had done up to that point to still want to see it through. And I ultimately did like end up loving it in its entirety, but I do agree, like towards the ending, it's one of those things where that jump, I can see where it would throw off a lot of people. And then also sort of like earlier we were talking about with like some of the optional content, there was stuff, like I said, the final axon, that I felt like was a really big piece that you probably would have wanted to see going into the narrative that was more optional. But it, like, to me, I really, like, that went into the whole thing there. But, I mean, I think in total, like, I enjoyed it, even if, like, again, there were points like in between the jump between Act 2 and 3 where I was sort of like disconnected from, you know, the overall of what was going on. I think it still stuck the landing, and I think it sort of I appreciate that they were willing to just fully execute their like vision with everything. It didn't seem like they pulled any punches in terms of what they wanted to do. It felt like this was all very much you know, planned, and they were gonna do it, and like that this was the story that they wanted to tell no matter what. And I like that piece of it.
Well said. I think also ultimately with me, right, what ended up happening is, as I thought about it more and kept going through the game, because I lost motivation, because I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and I never trusted Verso, and I'm like, this is what Renoir meant about you. Do you know what it means to disappear into nothingness? You're condemned. Maybe you're ready to pay the price, but are they?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, everybody Gomage. Oh, everybody's gone. Verso just sitting there with the letter from Alicia, like she didn't just ask you, because you are of both worlds, maybe you can find the middle ground. And then this dickhead is like, nope, I'm tired. Everyone dies. And I'm like, see, this is why I'm about to go in on him later. It's coming. I'm loading up. Clip's loading up. But and also, I'm just gonna say this now. There is a piece of Verso's soul that says he loves painting, he doesn't want to stop. It's just because the family drama and all the pain that's being brought here, that's the reason That's what's really bothering him. So Verso's last sliver of the soul actually does not want to stop painting. He just wants all you freaks to stop acting nutty inside the goddamn canvas. That's the actual truth. And any child, and if you know this, and if in a court of law, well, I learned from base attorney technically, but I know in a court of law, you can't use leading questions. And children are very susceptible with leading questions. Remember, child Verso created this canvas. That's like a child version of his soul. So if you ask him a leading question, like, you want to stop painting, don't you? The child might be like, yeah, okay, and just kind of like tentatively agree with you because you're the adult.
Interesting.
So I genuinely don't believe that his piece of his soul wanted to stop. It just wanted to stay a joyful world of life, wonder, and good experiences and positivity, but that's not what's presently happening. And I'll come to Honwak in a second, because I actually think if maybe you just let the mom grieve here for a while, maybe she would have came out. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe he's right. But I almost feel like when Clair was like, bro, I'm gonna let Aline just do her thing, let her grieve. I'm grieving with rage. You're grieving with overprotectiveness. You're grieving with escapism, and you're grieving with I'm gonna call it substance abuse. Okay, so everyone has their own coping mechanism. If you really think about it, but go ahead.
I will give this game a lot of credit for the story before I say what I didn't like it after the Act 2 and 3. The first 10 minutes I cried when Gustave's girl died and the music played when the Gomaz was happening, and I cried. This never happened before in any story-driven games like God of War or Spider-Man or something. I'm like, okay, I might be in something very great. And I enjoyed it. I liked the whole twist. It was great. It didn't feel like it didn't come over because the signs were there. Like you guys said, a lot of foreshadowing. My issue comes like the beginning of Act 1, or you could say the end of Act 2, when everyone says, okay, we're gonna have this big expedition. We need to find a lot of Lurma, right? To get all the old expeditions. But we skip that. That's fine. But then you go immediately fight Renoir and the game is over. And my big problem is I like the twist, but one of my gripes is like, you didn't have enough time to grasp and sit with it. Also the characters and reflecting, okay, this whole time we've been living in canvas. And I wish like the game was a bit 3 or 4 hours a bit longer, the story. So the game could have done more to show, okay, this world deserves a more chance, and I would have liked more like Lenoir and a CL interaction, like they reflecting, because the game became so much about the Zonder family and Maya and Verso that the Nona and CL took like seat back, like they were not important as in the beginning and the mid through game. And I found that a bit disappointing because I like those characters, CL and Luna. They're not my top 3 favorite characters, but I still like them. And that's one of my gripes. It's a great twist, but I think it didn't completely pay off. It depends how you feel it. It didn't completely pay off. It's still good, it did land it, but it didn't completely satisfy me. And I put the best of my words into it. That's how I feel it.
No, that's well said. Honestly,
I feel that because it definitely felt like the game was going in a different direction, and then all of a sudden it pulls you one way when you're like, we're supposed to be looking for clues from the previous expedition, etc., etc., and then afterwards they're like, actually no, fuck all that.
by the way,
Yeah, especially with like the journals and stuff you find throughout the game, you would have thought that they would have played a little bit more of a part there.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, it's not in the games. Sorry, once quick. It's not only the games for me. Even if I'm reading or watching a movie, when a story does a big twist and it doesn't let sit with you, even the characters in the story and the watcher and the consumer, it feels weird to me. Like you're a big twist and then end the movie or the book is its end. I don't like that, and that's one of the reasons how I felt with the Expedition 33 when the whole twist happens. And basically, if you choose to go to story further, you fight a Renoir and that's it. If you don't do the side quest.
Yeah, because learning about Julie and what Verso and Renoir did, and Clea coming in and telling those two the truth about them being the painted versions of the real ones, and Simon, I'm like, this
Yeah.
all seems very essential. And I almost feel like maybe some of this should have just been naturally, like maybe part of the game, because I feel like if you just go straight to Renoir right after Act 2, whatever, you kind of miss a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I respect the decision to be like, I'm not gonna force you to do this, but if you seek it out. So like, for me, a lot of the things about this game, for me, it's just like, I'm like, you know what, respect though, because I think this game is one of the few games or like narratives that I've gone through where I'm like, I feel like you puppeteered me exactly the way you wanted me to. More often than not, a lot of authors, even though I think they're doing a good job, you don't invoke the reaction out of me that you want. So let's say like a character dies, it's supposed to be emotional. I'm like, fuck yes, I hate this bitch. I'm out. Like I'll not, and that doesn't mean you didn't do a good job of making it like emotional or somber. But like, I don't like you,
Yeah.
so I don't care. I'll give you a great example. What's his name? Shigichi. What the fuck is his name from Part 4? The fucking.
Shigechi.
Oh my
Shigechi.
god, get him out of here! He ugly. Oh, when Kira blew him up, I clapped.
Nah, she gets you. You mean that little guy?
Yes! Oh my
Nah, that
goodness!
was
I
sad,
was
bro.
so
Nah,
happy he was
no.
packed up, bro. I
No,
couldn't.
Naya,
I,
no.
I clapped.
Bro, that was sad.
He's a
What you
demon.
mean? Nah,
Get him off my screen.
nah, bro.
Honestly, the fact that he's like a child is messed up and crazy, but I'm just like, I can't look at you any longer. You're hurting my eyes, bro. Please go away.
Bro, you saying this?
But this is one of those games where I'm like, you got me. I think you wanted me to hate Verso initially, and I did. I do think you wanted me to come around to him. I went from hating him to indifferent because I never trusted him. He was always hiding something. And until I knew what he was hiding, I just wasn't going to get down with him. Yeah. So, and then when it comes to like me being like, what the hell? So they're not real? It's fake? Like I had that exact reaction and I'm like, oh, I might stop. Pat, I texted Pat, I'm like, this shit not moving me. I don't even know if I want to play no more. What am I even fighting for? What's even going on? But I persevered and I came full circle because I had to sit with it and think about it. And which is why I'll always give Sandfall Interactive their credit. Whether or not the story was perfect and well executed or landed all the way, it's impactful and it sticks with you. And you took a risk that I absolutely admire at the end of the day. So I'm not mad at the story, but I still think it's the weakest part of the game. Everything else from like music, visuals, characters, combat, but I'll give like 9 to a 10. I'd give the story a 7. At best a 7.5. Personally speaking.
Oh, I agree.
But yeah, man. All right, you guys ready to get into the ending?
Yes, sir.
No, I won't lie to you. I've been like looking at comments and like and Twitter stuff and like, yo, this decision has split the community in twine.
It did, bro.
Oh
because
my
It was
gosh,
in
yeah.
Twitter. My entire timeline was crazy. In
Yeah.
this ending. Okay, it was not.
Yeah,
And
when it
people
first
feel
came out-
very strongly about what they chose. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say when it first came out, because I played it around the time that it released. People were like divided. They're like, "Oh, I can't believe you chose Verso's ending. You know, you chose Verso's side because whatever you consigned all these people to death. You're committing genocide." And then it's like, people that like they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you chose Miles' ending. You're
not
repeating
real.
the
You're
cycle.
not real."
You're not real. You need to let them move on. Let them
Even
move
though
on.
your ass was crying when Gustave died, but anyways.
So
That's fair. I have to call myself up. Like, I'm a hypocrite. Hold on.
the big thing for me before I say, I guess, because I guess we're gonna all go into which one that we chose. I guess the first time, or if we,
Yeah.
whatever. Because what I ended up doing is I saved, and then I went back right after I chose one of them. I was like, I gotta see what the other one was.
I watched it on
But,
YouTube,
like,
the other one, but I will eventually go just get it. 'Cause I'm pretty sure I'll get like an achievement in the game. I'll do it. But go ahead.
Yeah, but my big thing is that to me, even though presentation wise it's argued that like they make the verso ending, like choosing verso side, seem ultimately better just for how they present it, because
That's literally what I said on Now's Patreon. I agree. Like visually, how it's presented.
Because it's like in
Verso
full
looks
color
better.
and everything. Yeah, it's in color.
Yeah.
whereas like
But
Mael's ending has like a bit of like an eeriness to it, where it's like because you had like the thing where you have verso on the piano and he's like,
yeah. That's one of
yeah,
my
nah.
big arguments against my ending. You're right.
But I mean, I personally think there's no quote unquote good ending.
Facts.
No,
Like
it
there's
isn't.
it's which I mean there's one there's the ending that you may stand by more, but I think ultimately both endings are kind of sad in different ways,
It
you
is.
know. And so I went with Verso's ending when I first played through. I was like, you know, even if I don't really necessarily like think that Verso's the most like you know, altruistic or like well-intended person like out of everybody here.
He's a very
And it
selfish
was funny.
character, but he's a good character. But
He
he's
is.
Yeah,
very,
very selfish.
very manipulative.
Very
He's
selfish.
extremely selfish.
Very
By
selfish.
the way,
But he's been manipulated by kind of like forces outside of his control his entire life. So it's not that I don't understand it, which is why I attest
Oh, yeah.
he is the best written character, objectively, if
He
I'm
was
being
just tired
impartial and
of living.
unbiased. But I still don't like
He
him.
was just choosing the nuclear option in that sense, because he was just like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
tired of all this. I just need it all to go. I don't care what happens. This just all needs to be done. We need to just hit the reset button and be done with this. It needs to be over.
I would have hit him with
Everyone needs to
the
move on.
what did the grandpa say in halls? That's too damn bad. You keep fighting. I'm tired, grandpa. That's too damn bad.
But yeah, so his shadiness aside, I was like, okay, I can either choose to continue the cycle, whatever that may be, or I can choose to end the cycle and have something, you know, change in a major way. And so that's sort of how I viewed the lens of it. But I remember when I first got to that screen, I was like, oh, so there's no like big shadowy like canvas force or none of this. We are straight up, we're the enemy. You know, we're making that choice. We're the final boss here. And so, because really the final boss was, you know, Renard. But like that, and it still stuck with me because I want to say I like sat there like for like 5 to 10 minutes like, I don't even know who to choose. I don't even know. What's gonna happen?
I chose
You know,
so
like
fast.
I'm stunned.
I chose so fast. keep going.
But like, so I was just like, you know, I'm gonna choose Verso because he's just trying to end the cycle, even if I don't necessarily fully agree with all of his motivations in doing it. You know, we need to see what's going on, and then you know you go through that, and it's funny because I feel like that fight they should have like nerfed your level or made it more scripted, because you can one shot the other person and there's like dialogue within, you know, the like different turns where you just straight up miss that dialogue between the two of them if you just one shot the other person, you know, off rip. There's, I think it's like 3 turns worth of like dialogue where if you just don't, you know, stretch it out, you just miss it. And I didn't even realize that until I watched it on YouTube. I was like, oh, I just straight up miss like this dialogue.
Interject for a quick second?
Yeah.
Because Mook said did anyone feel overleveled for the final fight? Like they give you access to so many side areas to do at the same time. You unlock the last island, so I did a bunch of those areas before going to the final area, and I whooped ass. I kind of two-shotted Verso. I saw one of the dialogue things. I saw the rest later. What I think they should have done is either what I thought was going to happen, and because I kept my part of the same level, I thought he was going to be the same level with me and have the exact same weapons and build and move set that I gave him, and vice versa if I picked Versa versus Mael, where I was like, ooh, that's interesting, almost using your own build against you. Even Luma doesn't pick those. That's what I thought. I don't know if some of that is true. Maybe there is. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look. I don't think. I beat it too quickly but I was like level 70 when I got to the last boss. So I was way too strong.
I think I hearing that from you, I actually do think that would have probably been better. I don't think that's actually how it worked though. I just think maybe Like, 'cause I think they just had default weapons and everything. I don't think they had the same build, but that would have probably made it at least a little bit more challenging, because then y'all would have been on a more equal playing field. But yeah, it was just that whole thing. But like the one thing that I'll say that they knocked out of the park, even going into the choice, where it's like you felt the weight.
Yes.
Right, you
of your
felt
decision.
the weight. Where I was like, it was heavy on my soul to pick the choice. I mean, I know you said you picked it quick, but
yeah,
like,
but I was running off hatred. I'll explain in a second.
yeah, but like,
Understandably, it happens.
yeah, no, I totally get that. But like for me, I was like, oh my, especially when I went back and I like listened to like some of the extra dialogue, I was like, you know, all this, and then even like the build up, where it's like, you're Mael wherever you are. You know, you don't need this canvas. I was like, oh my god, like this is.
We
this
are
is
all
what we're
hypocrites
doing.
doing the same thing to each other. One of my favorite lines.
Oh man, that like those.
That
He was
explains the
dropping
entire
good
game.
lines. He was dropping bars in that like
Go
that whole
together.
thing. But yeah, so that's why I chose that one, and I ultimately ended up. I stand by that choice, even though I think like there is the whole implication. Well, you just killed off all these people.
Yeah.
But I guess to me at that point, one, they had already been a lot of them had already been erased.
Yeah.
And then it's also like, for example, I'm gonna go back to Gustave now, right? Where it doesn't, Mael's ending doesn't trivialize his death or anything like that, because I think it's the emotional impact of his death still weighs there. But it's like, oh, he's back, you know, after all of this, where it's like it doesn't trivialize his sacrifice. But I was like, I don't know if he needs to be back. You know, I love Gustave, and again, he's like top 3 for me in the game. So it's like him being back, but it's one of those things where it wasn't one of those times where I was like, oh man, we got the Dragon Balls, let's wish him back right now. You know, like I need him back right now. Like it was just like, you know, I had at that point in the game, I had already kind of made my peace with Gustave and like all like some of the other people that had like, you know, been lost being gone. And so I was fine with the rest of it, because I was just like, well, you know, we just gotta break the cycle and just let it end. And I think sort of slightly off topic, but not exactly. But I remember when I like watched your video on it, Naya, right? You brought up a layer of it that I didn't even think of. Where I think you mentioned how, you know, because you have the whole point where like you know, and I know this is probably, you're gonna probably get into this when you're roasting Verso or whatever, when you're cooking Verso, but how he let Gustave die, right? And you said in your video, I think it was like might have been one of the few people. Gustave might have been one of the few people that could have convinced Mael to go along with sort of letting everything end, depending on how things went. And I thought about that, and I'm like, you know what? He's right, because Gustave showed a lot of the time, like in the time that we have him, he's like, he was very flexible in his thinking when it came to a lot of things. And I feel like if he had been confronted with that truth, it would have been very interesting to see how he would have sort of wrestled with it, you know? But that, I'm gonna keep on rambling for forever, but point is, like, yeah, I went with the Verso ending, but again, there is no happy ending to this game.
No.
To me. At all. There is not. There's no quote unquote good ending. There's no happy ending. It's just, this is how things have to be depending on which side you choose, you know, and you just gotta live with the decision. But yeah.
No, I also chose the Verso ending. I think we both shared the same thoughts and opinions. I think some people will be disingenuous for both endings. Like the whole Mael argument against Mael ending is like, well, they were not real, they are like painted, and I'm like, dog, y'all were crying when Gustave died, y'all were crying your balls out, and now y'all saying they're not real. I think that's a kind of weak argument. And I think with Verso also, like, but I didn't see much against Verso arguments. Like, I disagree, because I think against Verso arguments are fair. I think they're fair. Like Naya said, he is a liar, manipulator. Like, he is the best character, but he's not perfect. Far from it. I think for me, why I chose Verso ending is ultimately, if you look at the game, like the map, like the little hub you can explored, a lot of things are destroyed. Like the canvas that the real Versa created, it's destroyed. It's not the same when he was little. So how I see it is like this whole world was already just doomed from the beginning, even before the game began. So that's why I chose Verso, and I think Naya brought a great point. I didn't think about it how, because my first interpretation was when Verso said, "I'm tired too." The soul of Verso is also tired. He doesn't want to pain. But maybe I looked the wrong way. Maybe just tired of this whole Fox family drama, and that adds more layer to it, and that is a really good argument against Verso ending, because one of the big for me why I chose Verso ending is like, oh, does the soul of Verso need to suffer for eternity? Because that was also big reasons why I didn't agree with the Maya ending.
That makes
And I
sense.
think like yeah, one of I think great before point was pointed that the two endings are presented very differently. Like the Mael ending is still sad because he has burned face. He can't talk anymore, but it's like it's happy vibe. It's a bit more colorful. With the Mael, he switches. It begins with purple, but switches to dark and white, and the eerie music, and it just ends there with the black screen. But I think ultimately both endings are not quote unquote good. They're not. I think you can point out good things and bad things in both endings. I think I would give the game developers credit because having this much discord, and I have never seen a game. I'm still a newcomer for gaming, so I'm not alive for this long time, but I've not seen any game cause this much discourse on endings before. I do have to give credits on the developers.
Hell yeah. Pat, what did you end up choosing?
Um, I chose my L ending, and I will tell you why. So, in my interpretation of the events, this entire uh, playthrough of the game, I came to the conclusion. But I feel like that's gonna like, answer other questions that we have
It's okay. Go ahead.
on the show notes already going further. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
So I think the true antagonist of the game is not a singular person, it's grief.
Agreed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think as I was playing the game and seeing and getting to know like the characters and all the different things that they've struggled with and how they choose to handle it, it brought me to the conclusion that in the end, what can I do to provide the most comfort to the
Grief.
people that I've been playing with?
Yeah.
And the way I saw it, I was like, Verso, I like you a lot. And I know you want to end like the suffering that you've been going through. But in my viewpoint, you're already dead. And like I know people are like, oh well, the people in the painting, they're not real anyway. I'm like, but they are though. They are
Yeah, they
real.
are. That's such a dumb argument. Sorry.
Mhm.
Like I don't know why people to use that. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I was like,
understand it, but I
I
don't even
understand it's
I don't
it's
know
not
where I
fair. It's
stand,
not.
but I'm still mixed.
yeah,
But
I
yeah.
get what they're saying. Like they were created, but I mean, so were we. Like they've
Exactly.
had
But that's why I said
so many.
is how you're created. Like, does that matter? Like, again, the Mewtwo quote. I think it's with the Mewtwo quote. The circumstances of one birth are irrelevant. It's what you do with that life
Yeah.
that defines who you are. I said, oh shit.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, they've already gone through so much, and like the world that they've lived in has been so hard. Like, can you imagine? You grow up, um, let's say, like at first the paintress was at 99, right?
Mm.
People died at 98, then it's 97, 96, 95. And then let's say you were born when the Gomage age was 80. So let's do 30 years. 30 years passed, Gomage age is 50 now.
Mm.
So now, like, the preciousness of life is heightened. Now you're in a race to experience so many things. So now, let's say 10 more years pass. Right before the 10 years, it's 39 now. Next year, you're gonna die. And let's say you had a child. What's the suitable age? No, let's say 25. People have children at 25 most of the time. So now your child is 15. They've barely gotten to experience like the life that you had when you were growing up.
Here's your card.
And like maybe 5, 6, 7 more years. I don't know. My math is off right now. They're gonna go watch soon, and you have no answer for them. Like how do you wrestle with this in the twilight years of your life? You know you're going to die. And I was just thinking to myself, like, how can I just erase this world where these people have suffered for so long, and these people that we've been with from the beginning of this game, they've been trying to find a solution to that. I felt compelled to give them a solution.
Yeah.
Like the DeSandra family, I'm sorry that, they had their grief, what they went through. They lost their son. The mother was stricken with grief. Daughter was burnt. The father, is trying to salvage what family he has left. And Claire is just, I can't get a read on her. He just seems like over all of this
the
shit.
enigma. The enigma.
I can't get a
Her
read
face
on her
reaction was
personality.
so funny at the funeral.
Yeah, she was like, can y'all niggas move on already? God,
She's like,
damn.
can
I
we
was just
beat these fucking writers' ass now? Oh my goodness. I got rage.
I got certain pushback. Maybe Naya can help because he played recently. But one of the arguments against Mel and is like, she dies eventually. Like Ronwell said, you've been too long in the canvas, like your mother. And when she dies, or even doesn't die, Ronwell can come back, or Kalea. Okay, she's still in there. I'm gonna destroy the canvas. We're done with this shit. Like, so then Mael dies and the canvas goes, because in both endings the canvas goes. So if you choose both endings, canvas goes, but one of the endings also Mael dies. So
You know
for
what?
me, I think it's one of.
Before I give my
sure.
answer, I want
Yeah.
Pat. Were you done what you were saying?
No, I'm just gonna answer his question. I'm like,
Okay.
you know what?
Okay.
That's okay. It will
That's
give
fair.
them.
Like, I'm not mad
Yeah,
at it. I'm not mad
yeah,
at it.
it'll give them some peace. Like, let them enjoy some extra years that they didn't think they were going to get.
Yeah.
I think that's the greatest consolation that we can give them, for everybody that's dreading their impending doom.
For those
For
who
them
come
to
off
be
the
blessed
It's
with a
it's
little bit
it's
more
one of
life.
those. It's one of those things. The end doesn't matter. It's about the moment. You can say like, yeah, we don't have long time, but Gustave is back, and we can have some time when we can choose when it's to end. I get it.
hmm
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to give them some consolation for the amount of suffering that they've experienced.
Oh, that's fair.
All right. So, my L ending is what I chose, and I watched the Verso ending on YouTube. Now,
Yeah.
oddly enough, in a weird, more realistic way, I feel like facing the truth and facing grief is probably the healthier and better option. So, there's a huge part of me that pretty much kind of really agrees with Verso's ending and choice. But here's the thing. I, at times, am not a good person. I could be very selfish, and I am one
We
of
all
the
can
most
be.
I am one of the most emotional people that I know. The worst thing,
Same here, brother. You're not the only one.
yeah,
But
the
go.
worst thing this game ever did, I guess you could say, is let me know that Verso let Gustave die. Cause after that, I don't care what he had to say. It was raps for him. I was gonna make sure some way, somehow, he suffered. Now let me get clear. I do think in hindsight, after being in the game making the video, I do think that if you see the part of Verso's soul that wants to keep painting, I do think that destroying the canvas is not really what the last sliver of soul wanted to do. But I didn't make the decision knowing that. I said, I don't know the real Verso. I don't give a fuck about his soul piece. I really don't care. If painted Verso gets to suffer because Mael's gonna make him play the piano and whatnot, I think in this version he'll grow old and die though. I don't think he's immortal. I was okay with it. I was totally fine with it because you let Gustave die, and I was not okay with that. That rubbed me the wrong way. I don't really. Again, I think he's such a great character, well written and complex, but I don't personally like him. So I was okay with condemning him to whatever fate he didn't want. I don't want this. I don't want this. Good. Suffer. I'm tired. That's too damn bad. You keep playing.
Now, real quick.
Go ahead.
One of also reason why I chose Verso ending. It's been like the game came out 6-7 months ago. Now I think both endings are fair. But when it came out, I was very on Verso ending because I told Naya I was crying very hard when I did the Verso ending, and when Verso was saying to Mael, please let me die, and he's looking at the boy and he's help me, I don't want this. That was so heavy on me and emotional. I think that's one of those reasons why I chose Verso ending, even though secretly, and I promise secretly, I want to choose Mael's ending, I want to side with her, but I ultimately chose Verso ending. But I think that moment, like how Naya meant Gustave a lot, like how much he cried, I think that moment for me, because after Verso joined, for me, I like Gustave, he's a great character, but for me, narrative-wise and gameplay-wise, for me, Verso replaced it. He made me comfortable. Okay, it was sad Gustave died, he didn't deserve it, but I'm okay with it. So when Verso ending happened, he was crying and begging, that hit me hard, and I think that's also one of the reasons I think I chose Verso ending. Also, Naya, you can make one of the arguments for you because you chose Mael ending, and I don't know if you know that. You know the Mask Keeper boss.
Yes.
Apparently, he's based on the real Verso.
No, he is.
Because he
Renoir
is.
created.
And the Mask Keepers lie and manipulative, right? So basically,
He who guards truth with lies.
Yeah, exactly. So one of against Verso ending you can use. Well, it's sad that the real Verso died, but looking at the painted Verso and the Mask Keeper, he was also a liar and manipulator.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also one of the arguments you can use.
I agree with that, but it was just like with me, it's like I don't like this family. I don't know them like that. I don't really care about them. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry you lost a son, but I don't really give a damn. Your guys' healing is not that important to me, and like here's the part that's extremely selfish. Like for me, in that moment it hit me, and I'm like, oh my goodness. If you really think about it, maybe not everybody went through this, but like I've become a painter in a sense, because through the cycle of grief. Because I'm grieving over Gustave, I'm condemning a lot of people to something that's probably very unhealthy. And that's what I'm like, dog, this game is so good for making me do that. Because every decision I made at that moment was selfish, emotional, and purely for me. I stopped liking Mael. Well, what? Mael's gonna die. And? Okay. Die. What's that that Vine with the guy with the people like whatever, I can't remember it now, but like okay, so die then. I actually don't really like you anymore, and I know we said the main antagonist is grief. I do think that, but I think like right as a 1B, it's the entire Descendre family, and that includes Alicia. Mael's not exempt.
I agree.
Her, Renoir, Clair, Verso, and Aline. I think as a totality, they're also the antagonist. And I'm like, look at these rich ass white people. I don't care about them. I really don't. I care about Gustave. He back with Emma. Let's go. Honestly, I felt weird about seeing him again. Something about it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like. it was a little unnerving. 1 second. I don't know if anyone's read or watched Gantz, and I'm going to spoil the fuck out of it.
I know
I'm sorry.
of it, but didn't watch.
I'm sorry. But
It's
it's fine
fine.
right now. Plug your ears.
No
Or
problem,
go away for a second.
It's no okay. It's okay.
The MC technically dies, and then through the point system of the game, he gets remade. But months have gone by, and he was kind of recreated at the moment of his death. And I'm like, this doesn't feel like the same version of him. And then somebody else who loved him also made another one, so there was two. To me, the real version is dead, and these are facsimiles of the real version, so it doesn't really move me. And once I kind of knew that you can just kind of bring them back, just bring back Pierre and bring back the people of Lumiere, I'm like, something about this feels off to me, a little uncanny. But at the very least, if I can make Verso suffer, I'm gonna take what I can take, what I can get. But I did have conflicting emotions seeing Emma and Gustave again. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. It feels weird. Which is why, as we kept saying, both endings are not good. And why I want to ask you guys, do you wish there was another pathway? Another ending that was possible?
No, because
nah.
you wouldn't have this discourse.
That's fair.
Because you have two endings that's so divided. If you have the third, it doesn't have the same,
Effect.
I think I would say, I would say part of the reason why you finish the game and you just sit there and ponder about what you've experienced is because it's not really there's no middle ground. There's no
it's two extremes,
best of both worlds, you know, which I mean, and that's kind of a reflection of life, because it's like you're not going to always have a middle ground. You just got to make a choice and then just sit with the consequences of that choice, no matter what it is, you know, or what they are. And so if there was like a middle ground where it's like, okay, you know, the family can grieve and they can come and visit, the painting and the canvas every now and then, but like in a healthy way and all this other stuff, I'm sure there's like, it would be satisfying maybe in some ways, but in other ways it wouldn't make the same level of impact in your mind. Like I sat like for like weeks, even a month, even months later, thinking about how impactful that ending is. And that's why I say, I said earlier, I was like, I really appreciate and respect that they stuck to their vision and they really didn't compromise, and that's part of the reason why I think having a middle ground ending would probably not necessarily tarnish the game, but it wouldn't leave that type of impact that having to sit in your decision or in the consequences of both decisions and just realize like, wow, so this is just what it is. So yeah, I don't think there should have been, and it doesn't seem like there ever is going to be like a middle ground or DLC route where it's like, well, this is what happened if, they found a way to compromise. Like it just is what it is, and I love that.
It takes away,
Okay. But ultimately, my ending is what I chose. I think both endings suck, but I don't like Verso, and I can be a very spiteful, hateful, vindictive individual. And once I knew what he did,
I mean that's fact.
It's
Verso's
raps
my
for
favorite.
You. But again, I acknowledge it. I think that I'm just a crybaby. My girls have called me a crybaby. Even when I tried to tell her what happened, I was like, I couldn't get through it without crying. I paused. I put the phone down. I'm like, damn it. But a question that I want to ask that I think is very interesting, because we kind of answered some of the later stuff we're going to get into from like the main antagonists and stuff. But I want to ask you guys something. If Gustave and Verso were presently in the same party, could they actually coexist as a unit? I think there would be a lot of headbutting.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Do you think Verso and Gustave could coexist?
Well, it's funny because they're both very similar but very different.
Yeah.
I would say they're both similar in the for lack of better term, laissez-faire approach that they take when it comes to being in the group. Like they won't assert themselves when it comes to making a decision. They'll try not to step on anybody's toes in a way, like when they're communicating with each other. But their motivations, their motives, their mindsets, they're both very different.
Yeah. I think if Gustave was alive, I think Naya said that earlier, if I'm not wrong, correct me. Like, if Gustave was alive, he might convince Mael to go to her real world and say, you know what, we had great time, but you should live.
Yes,
But I
I
think
agree with that.
he
Sure.
would have not liked the action of Verso, the way Verso goes things about it, and the decision he makes, like Naya said in his video, just justify the ends means, say it like that. I think Gustav would have not agreed then. He would have convinced Mael to go, like live a real world, but I don't think he would have liked Verso as a person and his things and morals, how he goes about it.
Especially
It's the trolley
like,
problem,
knowing
in
what
essentially.
Verso knew.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, if he knew that Verso knew that about the connection with Alicia and Mael, he would have been very pissed off at him.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think the core difference between the two of them, which is why they would have ultimately butted heads, is that Gustave, for all of his faults, he did his best not to lie to any of them. Like, he was very strict. Like, he may have had like his things about him, but he never really tried to deceive anybody that was there with him. Like, he was like, look, he would try to, like, you know, like, especially with like in the very beginning of the game where like Luna's like, no, we gotta be with the protocol, He's like, look, you know, fuck the protocol, I'm doing this and you should really stick with me. We're gonna get through this. But, you know, whatever. He wasn't like, oh, well, you know, there might, like, he's like, oh, well, you know, actually, I got this secret message that said they're gonna be here. He's just like, look, I don't even know what's gonna happen. There may be more people where we're going, there may not be, but I'm going after Mael. You can come with me or you can't, but fuck that protocol.
He said, are you gonna?
He was cooking.
He said, actually, it's protocol to also not let me go alone. So which one are you gonna break?
But like he was very like honest and, for the most part, well-intentioned in the way that he moved and interacted with everybody in the party. Verso was just a master of deception, and I think eventually it would have came to a head at some point, because Gustave would have automatically been skeptical. He would have been like more skeptical than Lune was, or whatever. He would have been like, yeah, nah, like, I guess we'll go along with you, but
That's weird.
You're with us.
That's suspicious.
Like, oh, you just know all these things, huh? You seem to have knowledge, like connection. Like, he would have pressed him about the whole like fact. Like, how do you know Renard? Like, how do you know that? Like, what's with y'all? Like, how, you know, there's something changed. Y'all both have like these scars that y'all got going on. Like, I don't know. I think that's kind of weird. But yeah, but like back to what we were saying earlier, he would have probably tried to convince Mael, but he wouldn't have done it in a deceptive way. He would have just been like, look, I don't love this.
Yeah, I don't agree with Verso, but for you,
I don't want you to be stuck in this cycle and, you know, eventually slowly die, you know, over time. I want you to be free, and, you know, even if it's not the greatest thing out there, like, at least you won't be dying a slow death, and sacrificing yourself for all of our sakes, you know, slowly over time. And I think that's what it would have ended up happening had he been allowed to live. And that's why that honestly stuck with me when I really started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, what would things have been like if Gustave had lived and had been with the party? Even if it would have had, like, you know, him and Verso would have probably butted heads at points as they were on the way to their main goal. What would he have thought of the Paintress and sort of that whole dynamic, you know?
I think he would have thought back to Emma. What Emma said to him at the beginning about her being sad and being a part of a cycle. Like, I actually think the correct decision was what they did, but I do think there's a lot of basically what I'm saying is, in a weird way, I would argue that killing him off is. It's not, I don't call it cowardly. Cowardly is not the word I'm looking for, but it removes a lot of moral and character dilemmas that like would have been really interesting and made the party dynamic more what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. More like kind of tumultuous and more difficult for most people because of Gustave's kind of moral compass and ethical code. And I think it would have challenged Verso more, or would have challenged Elysium, would have challenged everybody, would have been challenged more, and that includes Gustave. Because he didn't even learn the truth. You know who Gustave kind of reminds me of in terms of just like the death portion? Erwin. I often wonder how Erwin would have reacted to the truth of the world if he lived longer in Attack of Titan. He never figured out that it was other humans doing this. They were on an island, whatever the case may be. Blah 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 blah. Ymir, right?
Yeah.
And I almost feel like if he knew, what does that do to a character like him who spent his entire life believing humanity was against this kind of like otherworldly force? The same way Gustave believed it. Didn't disbelieve the Paintress was just his enemy. He spent 32 years of his life preparing for this. You know what I mean? And I think that's an interesting thing to explore. I don't think you have to explore it, but I do think it would have been intriguing, and I would have loved to see it in its own right in another world or something. But I do think that they would have butt heads a lot.
Do you guys think if Gustav was alive and instead of choosing Verso or Marielle, it's Verso of Gustav? And do you guys think that would have divided even more the fan base and the community and bigger impact?
That's super
Because
interesting.
I think so. Because how many people cried for Gustave as a character, and people love Gustave. And by the way, fun note, the voice actor of Gustave is the guy who plays Daredevil in the MCU.
Charlie Cox.
Yeah. So I think it would have caused even more spark in the community.
I think that's interesting in its own right. I think the reason why the Marielle and Verso thing works because of like Alicia having the painted world memories, real world memories, or whatever. But a divisive choice between those two, I think, would have held a lot of emotional weight, emotional and character weight the same way the last decision in this game.
Because how you
is.
look at in the community, it's like people look at Gustave like the first MC, like versus Verso, the second MC of the real MC of the game, and if they were both alive at the same time and butting heads each other, I think that would have divided even more. It would have been interesting to see.
It would have. But I do think ultimately they made the right decision, even though it hurts.
It doesn't.
Are there any characters you guys think are kind of like overlooked and underrated and like don't get enough credit in general? I want to like CL more, but I genuinely think she didn't get a lot to do.
That's funny you said that, because that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say CL was underrated. The reason I say that is because she's dealt with just about as much as like the rest of them as far as grief goes, but she still somehow manages to maintain a positive outlook on life. I think in the party, she was probably the most optimistic of all of them.
She was.
Yeah.
And like I said too, I think there was a nonchalant underlying kind of recklessness because of maybe the guilt she felt. Where it's like, she's like, why don't we just take the challenge and fight the stronger Axon first? And that woman looks like, I like your spirit. And I'm like, that's just unintelligent. We're not doing that. I'm not doing that. TL, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about?
I think she's very inspirational in a way, and it's funny that she's like a hopeful person because her skill set is more so like dark black magic, foreboding, foreshadowing. If I build up enough dark cards, you will die. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
And she has like a scythe. It's a scythe, ain't it?
It's like a double-edged scythe, yeah.
So it's like her attacking style is like grim, dark, Grim Reaper-ish. But then like her as a person is like upbeat, fun to be around, inspirational, kind of. like keep your head up. So I think the juxtaposition of like how her character is versus how she fights is very interesting to me.
Off topic. Oh, sorry.
No, you
I
good.
want to say, Naya, when I was watching your stream, and when Maya asked, hey, could have you saved Verso? Could have you saved Gustave? And it was choose to tell the truth or lie. You didn't even speak, you was quiet. I was laughing because I could imagine your reaction. I just saw it in my head. And you were so mad. That was such a fun reaction because I know you love Gustav so much. And I forgot that even Maya asked that, and that happened again. So
I just stared at the screen in silence for like a
exactly,
minute.
that was so funny.
I was in legitimate shock.
I could feel the rage.
I was like, this bitch ass nigga.
Could have seen him.
I think sort of like underrated or overlooked characters. I'll actually go with and I wouldn't have answered this as I was going through until a certain point of the game, but Painted Alicia, I think, is sort of like underrated and overlooked. Part of the reason because she doesn't really have much dialogue throughout the entire game because she's a mute, but I think she was sort of representative, again, like almost like part of the representation of grief throughout the whole narrative, because even in a world where, you know, the paintress, you know, their mother was trying to, you know, live with her perfect happy family, she was representing her grief because she still left her broken and battered the same way she was in her life, because she in a large part blamed her for Verso's death. So out of everybody in the family, I guess minus Clea, who got messed up by real world Clea, the rest of them were painted like perfectly in an idealized version, but she was the only one that was still left scarred and broken even in that idealized world, because she still blamed her. So she was representative of her grief. Yep. And so, and then even when you go into sort of the you know, the side quest, which I still think should have been part of the main quest, that centered around the like last Axon and her kind of at the center of it, you just see how she never had any real control over her existence in that world whatsoever. You know, she was just sort of like a sad existence, mirroring how, like, you know, Mayel felt about herself in real life, you know, outside of the canvas, and how her one choice that she had that she took was just to end her existence. And I thought that was like a really, like, you know, sort of impactful moment, and just sort of like, she had always kind of like caught my eye throughout the whole narrative, because I was just like, you know, what's she really about? And then even with the letter to Verso, and so like, because Verso, again, in his shady ways, didn't even read the letter until after everything, it was already too late. He was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll read this now because I know what's about to happen. He's like, let me see what she said. And then, you know, how even like the person who quote unquote loved her the most and cared for her the most, he didn't really respect fully her wishes in the end. You know,
he didn't.
So she really, her only choice and the only real thing at the end that she got was just to end everything, you know, but in a way that was, I feel like, was distinct and different from how Verso did it, or how Verso wanted things to be, because he was just like, this whole thing needs to go. She was just like, I'm just taking myself out of this equation because I think the people in this canvas deserve to have their own, you know, lives. I just don't like my life in the way that it was kind of created here, and I don't want any part of this. So I thought that was good.
Yeah, I felt more bad for her than Mael at the end of the game. Like you said, she.
No, she didn't deserve what she didn't deserve that. And actually, the way the family treats Mael as Alicia is pretty effed up in general too. But even Clair was like, I kind of hate Verso for dying to save you, but I kind of respect it at the same time. I'm like, what a very fucked up thing to say to you.
That's
like,
also one of the things you said. Sad about the Mael ending is like, she is alive, but it's one of the things. Her mother blames her. Her sister's a bit asshole. Her father does love her, but he's a bit busy with her wife, getting her mind right. So it's like you said, both endings are not good. Like they have both, you can say, that fucked up part, that's quote unquote good part about it.
It's tough. It's tough. It's really tough. But I still think Monoko was great and had a great role. I just feel like because he's one of the people like Eskie who kind of know the truth. Towards the end of the Act 2 and Act 3, they just kind of don't do anything. They're just kind of meandering aside from the little side quest with Noko. I wish he had a bit more to do in the end game. That's all I would say. But I don't think he's underrated though. But yeah, I would say like a CL. I think Golgra. I think Golgra's fucking awesome personally. I think the gestures in general are funny. I actually do like the Grandis as well. The Grandi, they're pretty cool. The like poetic.
I like how the gestures
Because I think they represent the writers. They're like poetic and wordsmith. And what the fuck are the writers in the first place? Like I need answers.
Do you think the next game gonna be about the writers?
Apparently they're gonna go the Final Fantasy route. So like they're gonna use like Clair Obscur and maybe call it something different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, whatever. So I don't know if the games will connect directly, but I would like at least a little DLC or something to maybe learn about the writers, but maybe that's not something they think is important and they want to.
Because I want to know about the writers.
To interpretation, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, are you guys excited for any more games from Sandfall Interactive? And kind of like, what's your like big picture takeaway from this game at the end of the day? Like, what do you think this game left you with? If let's do anything at all, maybe just like, oh, good game, I like it, move on. I would say that this game's is one of the best modern narratives that I've experienced that really sat with me for a long time, and I do like. And the big picture takeaway to me is grief sucks and grief comes for all of us. But if we don't grieve properly, you risk dragging down other people you love into your world of grief and possibly destroying them. I think that's a pretty powerful message.
Agree. I will say this. This is the best cinematic game, like I will say the Sony cinematic. Because I'm a PlayStation fan and Sony, and I will say this is the best story game, like the whole cinematic. This is by far the best one, because I think a lot of, in retrospect, I'm becoming more older as a 22 and playing more games. I think the Sony cinematic games are very mid in storytelling. I think when you play the first time, you know that's a good story, and when you think critically more, I think they are a lot of more desired, and I think need to work on. But I think this one is the best one. The amount of emotion I felt, the decision, the character is so good. Like I think everyone here said, no character is good. Like everyone's kinda asshole and evil. No, and I think I'm excited for the next game if they make. I hope it's more action-packed story than emotional one, because the first game was not emotional. So I want the next game be more action-packed story, but with this combat.
That's
I think for me, like Sandfall again. This, like we've all kind of already said, this like left a big impact in the quarter. Like it's one of the few like first games in a while where I like sat. Like narrative wise, that I just sat and I was like, wow, I really experienced that. Like that was, and it like complete. And I think part of it is like I thought like we all kind of said, I thought it was gonna be good. I didn't think it was gonna leave me like this. I went into thinking like, oh, this will be an enjoyable game. I think I'll have a good time with it. You know, I've seen these trailers, the gameplay, like, because I didn't watch too many of the trailers. I think I might have watched the like.
I didn't see any. I just knew about it. I saw none.
Like, I think it was the first time they ever revealed it. That was the only trailer I ever saw. So, like, the first reveal trailer, like, out many years back before it came out. So I knew next to nothing aside from, I was like, oh, okay, so it has, like, that combat, you know, where, you know, and all that, sort of similar to Paper Mario and all that other stuff, where you have the action commands. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, this seems like something I'm going to enjoy when I get to it, you know. But then it did what it did. So Sandfall has me, nice. At least for a bare minimum, they got me on board for at least the very next game that they make, whatever it is. I just need to see. I am looking. I am watching. I need to see what y'all do. Whether again, it's a continuation in the Clair Obscur, I guess universe or title line or whatever you want to call it. Similar to like Final Fantasy, DLC or whatever it is. Whether we get like a Clair Obscur Writers Edition, where now we see what the writers got going, and now we're going through like a storybook or whatever it is, or something like that. I don't know, where like words become like the big thing instead of like designs or whatever it is, where it's like instead of pictos, we have whatever the word equivalent would be or something like that, where it would be interesting to see sort of how they do that, because I think they have sort of built a world where they can either do like they can focus on the writers, maybe they do a sequel where now we're seeing sort of like Clea's war on the writers and all this other stuff, or whatever it is. I don't know, but I really enjoyed it. I think again, the gameplay loop that they like found in this game was really good. I think it took a lot of things like from things before it, and just kind of made it its own sort of identity, where you can clearly see like its roots, but it does its own thing. And just like seeing how they either preserve that or even build off of that, and sort of just how they tell their next story. Because I think sort of like this was a story centered on grief, right? So obviously they're not. I would hope that they wouldn't tell the exact same story, centered on grief again. But like, what sort of other heavy messaging or theming they might choose to tackle in the next game. And I think that's very interesting because there's so many other things that you can like tackle about the human mind or human interaction, and how people process and deal with things, and everything there, that I think it really like they can do whatever they want, and I definitely will be there just to see what it is they're gonna create next. Like the game left me with such a strong impression that they've got me for at least the very next thing that they create, just to see what it ends up being. But that's sort of where I'm at with it.
All right, Pat.
Before I say this, I will say, anyone that knows me knows that the French will not get nothing from me.
Kylian
God damn
Mbappe.
it. No. And these people and their omelette du fromage, they can go shove it. However,
They cooked.
they did snap when they came up with croissants. They snapped when it came to pain au chocolat.
Okay.
And they snapped with Clair Obscur Expedition 33, because this is a really, really, really good game.
Yeah.
I think it's rare when I play a game where I like everybody that I'm playing with in a party.
That is rare, for sure.
I think the last time I did that was probably Final Fantasy 16. I'm not really fond of Aerith in Final Fantasy 7.
Damn.
And she just
The bitch who died?
I don't dislike her or nothing, but she just like
Story or gameplay wise? Because gameplay wise, she's broken if you know how to use her.
Yeah, it's not about how she plays. It's just her. Like I'm just like okay.
I agree. I kind of agree.
But I think
Sephiroth was right.
this game pushed me to really unlock my critical thinking and literary analysis skills that have been dormant for the last couple of years. Because I was like reading context clues with like Canvas Alicia's appearances and like subtle hints in the dialogue between Renoir and Verso. Especially when in the beginning you're not really told exactly what the nature of the life is like in Lumiere. You just have to piece it together. as far as the visual presentation, I was pleasantly surprised about how vibrant the game could be. I was expecting a dark, gritty setting. So seeing like, I mean, it's on the nose because the enemy was the paintress, but like the painting-esque backgrounds, the scenery, um, the music as well going along with it, I think really created a certain ambiance when you're playing that like either soothes you or heightens your emotions depending on the situation. And it also gave me the opportunity to reevaluate like family dynamics. Because the way I interpreted the Sonder family, right, is that Verso was the prodigal son that was extremely talented in a family that's like committed to the arts. Whereas Alicia, she does not really have the talent for art like the rest of the family does. So she's ostracized. And Verso was like the main one who tried to make her understand her worth. Like, hey, we're not just what we contribute to art in this family.
I want to play the piano, Mom.
I think that's ultimately like he sacrifices himself to protect her. I feel like it was a direct challenge to the family. Whereas like, hey, you're gonna lose me, but you should still love Alicia as much as you love me. And the mother obviously can't come to terms with that. I feel like Renoir was able to, but like the way he was going about it wasn't the right way. And Claire, I don't know. I can't read her. I can't get a read on her. She's the only character where I'm just like, I don't know what you're thinking. Like I don't understand what's up with you. Like are you mad? Are you upset? Like I don't get it. Like,
I do think she's angry. I think she agrees with anger, but she's just a very like sharp and curt person. But like again, I think she's getting a video, so I'll explain what I think after. I think she's getting a video. I don't know what to say about Claire. Yeah, like Mikey said, at the very least, the next game you guys make, I'm looking.
Yep.
So we'll see what you guys cook up, but I appreciate you guys coming with me, talking about some Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I do think it deserved Game of the Year last year, based on everything that I've played and what I was aware of. Though there was just 2 categories, I would have given it something else. That's it. There's 2 categories. I would have given it 7 out of the 9 awards I got, I think, if I remember correctly.
It deserved Game of the Year, but my personal Game of the Year is a game called The First Berserker Kazan. It's a Souls-like game, so yeah, that's my personal favorite Game of the Year.
For me, it was Sonic Racing. Cross Worlds.
Hey, fair.
No, I'm talking shit. If I played this last year, I think I would have given it to this game. I'm gonna put Sonic second. Because Sonic, I probably enjoy maybe more overall from just a gameplay, whatever standpoint. I do have more hours in it, but again, I respect this game for just being an experience that sat with me longer than 2 minutes after I beat the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't just move on. I was like, first of all, I need to make a video, then make another video, and I need to talk about this. This is important to me.
I'm not gonna lie, after talking about it, I feel bad for Mael's ending and Verse ending. Now I'm sad again. Like it's because I played like 7-8 months ago, so I was moved on. But now thinking about it, and now people brought it up. Man, Mael is alive, but her family doesn't really love her. If you choose Mael's ending, but then Verso is suffering, I'm like, damn man, fuck this game.
Yeah.
Great game.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
No, I said definitely my Game of the Year too.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right, guys. I hope we need a game in the Cabrera universe called Clair Obscur. If you know, you know. Shout out to Clary. All right. You guys be safe. Well, I appreciate you guys listening and watching. And for those who are going to see this in the Young Paperwork channel, I'm trying something new. I haven't really had a discussion on this channel, so you let me know if this is something you guys like, don't like. I'm not going to overdo it. I want this to be more for short and long-term video essays and my yap sessions, but every once in a while, I think it's good to drop a little discussion video, a little podcasty type broadcast, if you will.
Yep.
All right. Remember, guys, tomorrow comes.